Chapter-681-Adventure Plan. Is no need to talk about it. Luhan's attitude is unprecedentedly tough, so that Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado and others are surprised. They all know that Han Guang is a person with a deep sense of government, so angry to drive out the Kurigakure mission. It is not like cool style of doing things. Han Guang is the kind of person who, if I want to kill you, I will give you a knife, but I will not tell you in advance. Gaidong Tushin and others left angrily, and Gaidong Qingbara was furious to say something, but was stopped by Gaidong Tushin. After the Kurigakure people went out, Kaharu Udatane said, "Since we have reached an agreement with Kumogakure, Kurigakure is not afraid. Even if they temporarily occupy the country of Vortex, it will not be a big loss for me, Konoha." She obviously didn't know the outcome of Luhan's negotiations with Kumogakure. "I didn't agree to Kumogakure's request," Luhan said. "What? Didn't agree?" Kaharu Udatane stood up suddenly, his expression changed. "Then you just said." Homura Mitokado and Hyuga Huyang also changed their expressions and looked at Luhan. Without a deal with Kumogakure, and with Kurigakure broken, Konoha will be confronted on both sides, and with the threat from the direction of Rainland, the situation becomes precarious. "I have my own arrangements," Luhan got up and said, pretending to be lofty. In front of the Hokage building, more than a dozen wooden carts used to escort money and food were lined up in front of the building. Some ninjas of the garrison were tying up ropes, surrounded by Anbu ninja guards, and Anbu Captain Hitaki Sakumo was also watching. White Fang heard the movement in the Hokage building and coughed lightly. "Damn Kumogakure for extorting so much money from us. What, more, they don't even want money tickets, they insist on gold-silver. It is said that this is still a small part. It is the first batch, and there are still several batches to send." Several Konoha ninjas whispered in dissatisfaction. At this moment, Kumogakure and his party came out of the Hokage building under the escort of dozens of Anbu ninjas. The Konoha ninja who were talking in a low voice suddenly stopped talking. Previous speech. Ghost Lights and Highland Barley have Yuhi's eyes, and Konoha even gave the money from their Kurigakure to Kumogakure. Crack. Suddenly there was a crisp sound from the third wooden cart, but it was a Konoha ninja who was tying up the rope with too much force. The rope was pulled off, and the canvas on it suddenly broke apart. The corners of the canvas fell out. The Konoha ninja was in a hurry and asked someone to help pick up the gold coins. The eyes of the ghost lamp were bloodshot, and he stopped subconsciously and stared at the golden coins. There were a dozen cars, all of which were money. Ghost Lamp Tushan pushed the ghost lamp and Highland Barley, motioning him not to cause trouble. The Kurigakure mission went up the small square in front of the gate and gradually disappeared. When Hitaki Sakumo saw that the play was over, he immediately arranged for someone to return these golden silvers to the Konoha treasure house. At the same time, in the Hokage building, Luhan, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, and Hyuga Huyang stood by the window watching. Kaharu Udatane frowned and looked at Luhan. "What are you going to do? Let Kurigakure misunderstand that we have. Does it make sense for Kumogakure to make an alliance? It's going to be broken in a few days." Quote. "You'll know soon." Luhan smiled slightly. After a moment. Konoha Back Mountain, Anbu Station. According to Luhan's previous account, Hitaki Sakumo has selected more than a dozen ninjas who can use Futon, Wind Style, and Raiden Thunder Style ninjutsu. Most of them are Jonin strength, and only a few are elite Jonin. Luhan came in a hurry, reviewed the dozen or so ninjas, and then ordered them to change their clothes and throw away all the items related to Konoha. Luhan gave them some kunai, hands in hands that were obtained through the drop rewards. The sword and the sword are all excellent weapons. Weapons that drop rewards from kills have no features. "What are you going to do?" Hitaki Sakumo asked in a low voice. "I plan to do this. After I leave, you go. Arrange." Luhan explained to Hitaki Sakumo again, and Hitaki Sakumo was stunned. He finally knew what Luhan was going to do. It was too risky. "You know, we're going to annoy both parties once it's exposed," Hitaki Tsukumo said uncomfortably. Don't worry, it will definitely succeed. Luhan smiled, and then began to explain the plan to a dozen Anbu ninjas. It was already in the afternoon. After the Kurigakure mission left Konoha, they were escorted by Hyuga scout ninjas for dozens of kilometers. Only then did they officially leave Konoha's surveillance and set out on their way home. The vast forest, hundreds of Kurigakure ninjas were hurrying under the shade of the trees. Due to the existence of Chunin with average strength in the team, the speed of the entire team was not fast. Damn cold light, damn Konoha. We must make them pay the price. Ghost Lantern still did not recover from the anger, but the more he thought about it, the more violent he became. What's the use of you saying this now? Ghost Lamp Tushin also seemed to be in a bad mood and spoke in a serious tone. Things have been messed up. Konoha and Kumogakure have formed an alliance. We don't know how to explain it when we go back. What to explain? Ghost Lantern Chingbarley said coldly. Our army has reached the country of Vortex, and we have directly reached the border of the country of Fire, so that Konoha will know how powerful we are. Stupid. Gaidong Tushin reprimanded, starting a war is the worst way to do it. A single legion's troops reaching the border of the Land of Fire may not be able to get a good deal from Konoha's men. Gui Deng Chingbarley's face was aggrieved, and he didn't dare to refute his uncle when he was reprimanded. He could only say bitterly, then what should we do? Han Guang looted our treasure house, and that's it. For today's plan, I'm afraid I can only. Ghost Deng Tushin narrowed his eyes slightly. What? Ghost Lantern Highland Barley asked. Iwagakure. Ghost Lamp Tu Shandao, looking at his nephew. Iwagakure village, they and Kumogakure village are already deadly feud. Kumogakure and Konoha have formed an alliance. It will not be easy for Konoha to win over Iwagakure. We send people to provoke Iwagakure if we fight Kumogakure. Kumogakure will not be able to become Konoha's help, and then we Kurigakure, Sunagakure, Omegakure, the three forces will attack Konoha. Enemy attack. Before the Ghost Lamp Tushin finished speaking, screams suddenly sounded from the rear of the team, and then there was chaos. Chapter 0682 Sunagakure. Konoha, Kumogakure. More than a dozen black-clothed ninjas launched a surprise attack from the rear of the Kurigakure team. First, kunai flew in unison, shooting many people, and then all of them pulled out their swords and slaughtered the low-level ninjas in the Kurigakure mission. These black-clothed ninjas all wore masks, and they were ruthless and decisive. There are more than 100 people in the Kurigakure mission. Only the ninjas who are entourages are low in strength. Those who can act as guards are at least elite Chunin, and even elite Jonin. Enemy attack. Spread out. Damn it, it's Konoha. How dare they attack the mission? The number of attackers was very small, but they were all powerful, and the Grandmaster Futon, Wind-style ninjutsu, and a few ninjas would use Raiden, Thunder-style. A black ninja, but only a few people were injured. Damn, it's all Jonin. Ghostly Tushin's eyes were splitting. In fact, more than a dozen Jonins were not scary to Ghostlight Tushin, and it was not enough to shake the Kurigakure mission, mainly because the Kurigakure mission had two superpowers. The elite powerhouses are the Ghost Lamp Tushin and the Ghost Lamp Chingbarley. But because it was a sneak attack, Kurigakure suffered heavy casualties in just one encounter. You bastards! Give me the death! But the Ghost Lamp Green Barley jumped up and quickly hand-sealed, sweetened water-style, Mist Izumi's art. The Ghost Lamp Barley spit out a large amount of water, and the terrifying current formed a torrent, which rushed towards the black-clothed ninja, and sometimes water balloons burst out of the torrent. Ghost Lantern Highland Barley is indeed fierce and strong, but it is too impulsive. S-rank ninjutsu can be released as soon as it is released, regardless of whether other Kurigakure ninjas are also in the attack range. Futon, Wind-style, Crushing. Futon, Wind-style, Datapa, Great Breakthrough. Quote. Futon, Wind-style, Crushing. Futon, Wind-style, Rising Dragon Blast. The 6 or 7 black-clothed ninjas who bore the brunt of the hand seal at the same time released Futon, Wind-style, ninjutsu, and the Futon, Wind-style, ninjutsu joined together, and they blocked the attack of the ghost lamp green barley. No one died on the black ninja side. On the contrary, many people were killed and injured in the torrent on Kurigakur's side. "Bastard, what are you doing?" Gaidong Tushin scolded angrily. Ghost lamp green highland barley's eyes were open to Yuhi, and he was angry in Konoha village. At this time, he was so mad that he lost his mind and didn't speak. He flashed and rushed behind a black-clothed ninja, and the knife flashed, and he was about to cut off that Jonin's head. At this moment, a figure rushed behind the ghost lamp Ching Barley and attacked with a heavy punch. Guidong Ching Barley felt in danger, and immediately turned around in a hurry, but saw that it was a very strong black-clothed ninja. This sturdy black-clothed ninja did not fight him. Slightly inferior Kurigakur ninja. The two sides fought for more than 10 minutes. The sturdy black-clothed ninja went around to put out fires. Wherever a black-clothed ninja was about to be killed, he rushed to wherever. His strength was no worse than that of Gaidong Chingbarai and Gaidong Tushin. None of the black-clothed ninjas died, but there were many people were severely injured, and all the black-clothed ninjas who were seriously injured would leave quickly, not reluctant to fight. Therefore, at this time, there are only 7 ninjas in black, and all of them are injured. On the Kurigakur side, except for the initial casualties, there were not many casualties afterward. "Uncle, they seem to be Sunagakur ninjas who are good at futon, wind-style ninjutsu." Ghost Lantern Ching Barley shouted as if he had discovered a great secret. "Don't fall for Konoha's tricks." Gaidong Tushin shouted in response. "Sunagakur has nothing against us, so why would he attack us? It must be the Konoha ninja in disguise. They don't want to bear the infamy of the robbery mission. That tall and strong ninja, let's join forces and kill him first." Guidong Tushin has noticed that there are strong people in this group, and he also found that it is precisely because of this strong person that the battle situation is like this here, otherwise these black ninjas would have died long ago. The Ghost Lamp Highland Barley and the Ghost Lamp Tushin quickly flashed to the vicinity of the sturdy black-clothed ninja. Doden, Earth Style, Iwaki Thorn. The Ghost Lamp Tushin could meet Doden, Earth Style, the ground cracked in an instant, and countless rocks stabbed the sturdy black ninja. The sturdy black-clothed ninja jumped up, and the Ghost Lantern Highland Barley seized the opportunity. Hand Seal appeared behind him in an instant, slashing with a long knife, but saw the sturdy ninja quickly turn around and slash out. The two knives collided, and the face of the Ghost Lamp Green Barley suddenly changed dramatically, feeling a strong force coming, and the whole person flew out. The sturdy ninja didn't chase after him. He used Raiden Thunder-style ninjutsu to flatten the ground, then crashed to the ground, exploded in an instant, rushed to the front of Ghost Lamp Tushin, and slashed with his knife. Ghost Deng Tushin is an old generation strongman, with very comprehensive abilities and excellent swordsmanship. And the strong ninja is only powerful, the swordsmanship is very general, the knife is very fierce, but the skills are very poor. The two fought only a dozen strokes. The Ghost Lamp Tushin seized the opportunity and pierced the strong ninja with one knife. Abdomen. Ghost Lamp Tushin showed a vicious smile of victory, but his expression suddenly froze. Poochie. The sturdy ninja who was pierced by the knife even fiercely returned to Ghost Lamp Tushin with a knife, but this knife directly pierced into the heart of Ghost Lamp Tushin. Master! 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 There were several screams around, and all the ninjas in black made panic sounds. Retreat! All break! The sturdy ninja bit Kiba and made a heavy noise, took a few steps back, pulled out the knife that had pierced his abdomen, and shouted again, "Come on! Uncle!" Ghost Lantern Highland Barley let out a shrill scream. The sturdy ninja was pierced in the abdomen, while the Ghost Lamp Tushin was pierced through the heart. Naturally the latter was more seriously injured. The black-clothed ninjas dispersed, but the Kurigakur ninjas didn't chase after them. Stunned in place, Gaidong Tushin was an older generation of ninjas with a detached status, but it was just an envoy mission, and he was going to die here. The sturdy black ninja chased and retreated. The furious Ghost Lantern Highland Barley couldn't care about the sadness. He shouted and chased after him. The whole person was already crazy. "Take your life." Ah! Damn Kurigakur! Seeing that the sturdy ninja was about to be overtaken, he bit Kiba in a low voice and stopped running. His whole body was shocked, terrifying chakra fluctuations erupted on him, and the blue lightning and light shone on him. Whole body. Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode. The speed of the burly ninja who entered the state increased sharply, and then accelerated with Lei Shun, and quickly ran away without a trace. Kumogakure. It's Kumogakure. It's them. Ghost Lantern Ching Barley's eyes widened, and with his supernatural wisdom, he immediately figured out the cause and effect. Chapter 0683-Chase. Damn, it's you. I swear by the Ghost Lamp Barley, I won't kill you if I don't kill you. The roar of the Ghost Lamp Barley resounded through the forest, and flocks of birds in the forest in the distance were so frightened that they flew into the sky. Originally, Ghost Lantern Highland Barley thought that it was Sunagakure ninjas who attacked, because those guys were all good at using Futon, Wind style, and a few would use Raiden, Thunder style. It doesn't matter what kind of ninjutsu a few have. After all, as long as it is Jonin, it can use chakra of several attributes, and the ninja in Sunagakure village are mainly Futon, Wind style. As a result, after being reminded by the Ghost Lamp Tushin, the Ghost Lamp Highland Barley realized that this was Konoha's trick. To put the blame on Sunagakure. In the end, the sturdy ninja displayed the Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode, which overturned all the previous speculations, not Konoha. It's the Kumogakure allied with Konoha. If it was Konoha who did it, no matter what the outcome was, Konoha would bear the infamy of robbing and killing the mission, and his reputation would be greatly reduced. Besides, if Konoha really wanted to kill the Kurigakure mission, he didn't need to be so troublesome. And Kumogakure's hands-on is the most reasonable explanation. They kill the Kurigakure mission, Konoha can get rid of the relationship, and the reason why they do it is naturally at the instigation of ally Konoha. Conclusion. The Kumogakure ninja was instructed by his ally Konoha to pretend to be the Sunagakure ninja and rob the Kurigakure mission. There are no flaws in the conclusion. Because of Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode, only Kumogakure Senior Ninja will. Ghost Lamp Tushin is dead. He was already old and frail. Although his strength was strong, a normal person could not survive for a minute when his heart was pierced. He died in the arms of Gui Dengqing Barley, and Gui Dengqing Barley cried because of this. Gui Dengqing Barley's father died in battle a long time ago, and Gui Deng Tushin was his uncle and adoptive father. That's Raikage's son. I heard those ninjas in black call him master. Raiden Thunder Style Chakra Mode. If he doesn't intend to disguise and starts using it, we're afraid. It's so badly wounded, it's been pierced in the stomach, and it's so brave. Boldness is only temporary, he will die if he loses too much blood. Ghost Dengqing Barley buried Ghost Deng Tushin hastily. He should bring the body of Ghost Deng Tushin back to Kurigakure for a thick burial, but it is inconvenient at this time, he wants revenge. Listening to the discussion of the surrounding Kurigakure ninjas, the Ghost Lamp Chingbara slowly got up, a violent aura rose from his body, and he turned around with the knife. The damn bastard has been seriously injured, and everyone under his command is also injured, and he can't run far. We followed the trail of blood, and we must not let them escape back to the village of Konoha. Quote. In another forest. A total of 16 black-clothed ninjas, half of them were seriously injured, and 2 were dying, lying on the ground dying. The sturdy ninja covered in blood hurriedly returned to confirm that no one was killed in the battle. He breathed a sigh of relief and walked to the 2 dying ninjas in black. The sturdy ninja took off his mask and it was Luhan. At this time, Luhan is nearly 2 meters tall, but the change was made by Shikatsumiku, Dead Bone Pulse's ability. He can only make bones grow, make them longer and thicker, and make his body taller and bigger. His flesh does serious tearing damage, but he is a subversive and is not afraid of such damage. Crackling, Luhan's body exploded and his body returned to normal. Front of the first dying Anbu ninja, Luhan launched the Mangekyo pupil technique, Time and Space Tide. At this time, Luhan already had Eternal Mangekyo, so he can use Time and Space Tide arbitrarily if he has enough chakra. The injuries weren't long, and they were all flesh and blood, so it was easy to fall back. Healed the seriously injured ninjas in turn, and treated the lightly injured with medical ninjutsu. Soon, they all returned to their uninjured state, even though the chakra was consumed by all the previous efforts and did not recover. Wow! A sound behind Luhan, Hatake Sakumo appeared, and said in Luhan's ear, "They buried that old guy, and they have chased after him." "Okay, save me the trouble." Luhan nodded. His plans were all backed up. If the group of Kurigakure ninjas didn't come after him, he would pretend to be a Kumogakure master again, in the name of revenge for the young master. Attacked them, and then fled to lure them. "Go back to Konoha, and remember your credit," Luhan said to the other Anbu ninjas. "Yes, Lord Hangwang." The Anbu ninjas took the lead and then dispersed. Luhan discussed with White Fang again before leaving. White Fang will be responsible for robbing and killing all the Kurigakure ninjas who may escape, while Luhan will be responsible for continuing to lure them until the Kurigakure and Kumogakure missions get together. 2 hours later, the time was approaching dusk. In the vast forest, the ghost lamp Ching Barley led dozens of Kurigakure ninjas at full speed. They were chasing the blood trail. Because they were many, it was easier to find the blood trail, so they never lost their tracking direction. What they didn't know was that the traces they could trace were all arranged in advance. They didn't even enter Konoha, but continued to go north. Could it be deceitful? The middle-aged ninja who followed Gaidong Qingqi frowned. Humph. It's better if they don't go to Konoha. The masters in the Kumogakure mission have all been seriously injured. Let's kill them all. The Ghost Lantern Highland Barley bit Kiba and said. But this, Teodi Beidou was very suspicious. "Why don't you understand?" said the ninja named Purple Yi, on the other side of the Ghost Lamp Highland Barley. "That bastard was so seriously injured, how dare he enter Konoha? He just blackmailed Konoha and entered Konoha with serious injuries. If you are Hangwang, what will you do?" Teodi Beidou was stunned for a moment, then widened his eyes and said, "What do you mean? If the son of the third generation of Reikage enters Konoha, Hangwang will detain him. Or kill him, saying that he was seriously injured and died to be blamed. To us." "Yes." Zie nodded, although Kumogakure has formed an alliance with Konoha, but Konoha was extorted and forced. That's 200 million taels. Do you think Hangwang can be reconciled? With Hangwang's ruthless heart, we can think of it. Those of Kumogakure can naturally think of. Quote. Luhan has been quietly following the group of Kurigakure ninjas. Hearing them talking, Luhan sighed in his heart. What a big brain hole. Chapter 0684 Kurigakure Mission vs Kumogakure Mission _ Luhan didn't expect this kind of unexpected gain. In fact, he didn't make any arrangements in this regard. His plan was made entirely based on the impulsive character of the ghost lamp. As a genius of Konoha's young and strong generation, Gui Dengqing Barley has a very flamboyant personality, so Konoha Anbu Master has a lot of information on him. The Kurigakure mission arrived in Konoha. After Luhan confirmed the leader, he reread the information on the ghost lamp and Highland Barley. Ghost Dengqing Barley Forbearance is very talented. Although it can't compare to White Fang, Tsunade and others, it is not comparable to ordinary ninjas, but his intelligence is average and his personality is impulsive. This is why Luhan killed Ghost Deng Tushin, but not him. Gaidong Tushin is scheming. Letting him live may see the problem, and in turn, Gaidong Tushin's death is enough to make the ghostly Highland Barley go mad. As long as he goes mad and leads people to chase and kill him firmly, it will be useless for others to say anything, and they will not be able to stop him. The Kurigakure mission was attacking the Kumogakure mission, because the weak ones died and the seriously injured ones were temporarily left behind. They were probably killed by the White Fang, and the rest were strong enough and not serious even if they were injured. The ninja, hurrying very fast. As for the Kumogakure mission, they went all the way north, and there were a lot of people. There was no need to rush to march in groups, so the speed was average. There are Anbu ninjas who have been following them, making arrangements along the way, or more traces of the road, or dripping blood. Anbu ninja following the Kumogakure mission, carrying the Hiraishin kunai. Luhan can rely on the perception of this Hiraishin kunai to judge how far he is from the Kumogakure mission, and he is not worried that Anbu ninja will be discovered by the Kumogakure mission. So what? You Kumogakure ninjas are in the land of fire, we Konoha ninjas have the right to follow you. Time flies. Before you know it, it's getting dark. Luhan felt that the Hiraishin kunai that was placed on the Anbu ninja who was following the Kumogakure mission had stopped. From this, he judged that the Kumogakure mission had stopped traveling and started to make a fire to cook and rest. Another half-hour passed. In the north of the Insight map, as Luhan moved, a large number of Yuhi points appeared within the scope of the Insight map, which was the Kumogakure mission. Luhan immediately threw off the Kurigakure mission that had been following him all the way, and appeared beside the Anbu ninja near the Kumogakure camp with the technique of Hiraishin. Beside this Anbu, there were 2 other Anbu ninjas. A total of 3 people were monitoring the Kumogakure camp. Withdraw. After Luhan appeared, he tilted his head at them. 3 Anbu ninjas dispersed back to Konoha, their mission over. Luhan looked at the Kumogakure camp, and Xiaoai was very eye-catching. The tall body was sitting by the fire, eating barbecue meat. Other Kumogakure ninjas were scattered around the fire, some were eating, some were on guard. Luhan did not act immediately, but waited. The Kurigakure mission was rushing in, getting closer and closer to the Kumogakure camp. Luhan looked at the Insight map. When it was determined that there were still 2 kilometers left between the 2 batches of Yuhi points, Luhan disappeared into the trees. The level 30 white-silver boss named Dimla was sitting on a fallen tree, eating roasted wild boar legs. Although Dimla was not as tall as Xiaoai, he was a head shorter, but he was stronger than Xiaoai. The thick arms seem to have mutated, and the whole person is full of strength. Doden Earth-style rock formation technique. Chakra fluctuations were suddenly heard in the dark forest dozens of meters behind. Dimla was alert for a moment, and shouted while getting up, "Enemy attack!" Rumbling _. The earth shook, and the ground cracked with huge openings that seemed to devour people. The Kumogakure ninjas were all alert, all jumped up, and Demura flew directly into the forest. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several kunai shot out from the forest like cold stars and attacked Dimla. Dimla looked horrified. Kunai came too fast. He had to try his best to dodge, but he was still scratched by Kunai's arm, with a smear of blood. The Kumogakure ninjas were furious one by one, screaming in surprise. Who the hell is that? Is it Konoha? How dare you attack the mission? There is no way. When attacked in the land of fire, the first thing that comes to mind is the village of Konoha. Sweden water style, the art of chasing the white waves. Luhan released another B-level Sweden water style ninjutsu in the forest. The terrifying current rushed into the camp and wiped out the fire. Luhan then shouted, "Damn Kumogakure, you guys are allied with Konoha. For the mere money, hum." After Luhan finished speaking in a disguised voice, he ran towards the south. The ninjas of the Kumogakure mission went berserk. Many ninjas had blue light, but not all of them. In Kumogakure village, not all ninjas can practice Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode. Damn, when did we form an alliance with Konoha? Who are you? Xiaoai turned into blue lightning, roaring and chasing after Luhan. Luhan naturally couldn't let him catch up, but he couldn't get rid of him either. With Luhan leading the way, Kumogakure went all the way to the south, and was soon noticed by the Kurigakure mission from the south to the north, and the most powerful Ghost Lantern Barley immediately shouted, "Prepare to fight." The menacing Kumogakure and Kurigakure met, and without a word of nonsense, the 2 parties started a tragic fight. Bastard, to be Konoha's lackey, you should be damned. Ghost Lantern Highland Barley directly found Xiaoai and launched a desperate attack. Xiaoai is a little confused. What is the lackey of Konoha? When did Kumogakure form an alliance with Konoha? He was not stupid. He immediately reflected, and immediately bit Kiba and gnashed his teeth. Damn Cold Light, you must be the one who spread the rumor that we formed an alliance, and Kurigakure came to ask for trouble. You're courting death. Xiaoai didn't talk nonsense, and she was full of firepower to fight with the ghost lamp and barley. Gui Dengqing Barley saw that Xiao Ai's breath was unstable, but there was no obvious injury on her body. She thought that Xiao Ai had healed the injury that had been pierced through her abdomen before, but she still had internal injuries. In fact, Xiao Ai was injured, but it was because she wanted to forcibly break in. Hokage building, injured by White Fang. Lu Han is like a ghost roaming the battlefield. With his strength, it is not difficult to kill everyone present, but he can't do it. His purpose is to make Kurigakure and Kumogakure enmity. Lu Han is haunted and mysterious, and even if someone occasionally sees his shadow, it is impossible to determine who he is from. At the same time, Lu Han was still killing Kurigakure ninjas. Chapter-685-Head off again. Lu Han is guarding against one thing, which is to prevent the Kurigakure ninja from talking too much. If someone breaks his mouth during the battle and says that the Kurigakure mission was attacked before, it will be in vain. Therefore, Lu Han ran everywhere to kill, and any ninja who talked a lot during the battle would be killed by him with kunwu. Lu Han threw out the kunai with all his strength in the dark, and there were really few Kurigakure ninjas who could escape. Fortunately, there are very few ninjas who can talk nonsense in battle, but Lu Han still killed a large number of Kurigakure ninjas, because he wanted to ensure that Kumogakure would win this battle. There was a roar. Firelight. Water waves. The tree is falling apart. The elusive Lu Han secretly helped, and Kumogakure, who had few people, quickly gained an advantage. In fact, Kumogakure was stronger than Kurigakure. Although there were fewer people, the 30 Kumogakure ninjas were of high quality and average strength. It is worth mentioning that Xiao Ai is stronger than Guidong Highland Barley, but because his injuries are not yet healed, his combat effectiveness has decreased a lot. In addition, he has a hot temper and will not give up in the fight to the death. The internal injuries were aggravated by this. The more serious the injury, the more Xiao Ai's combat effectiveness will decrease, which is a vicious circle. Lu Han wandered around Xiao Ai and Gui Dengqing Barley after the elusive killing. He would never give Gui Dengqing Barley a chance to kill Xiao Ai. Although this possibility was very low, Lu Han was still afraid of accidents. Xiao Ai can't die. When he is dead, Lao Ai will not only hate Kurigakure, but also Konoha. After all, it was Konoha's rumor that caused the incident. But as long as Xiao Ai doesn't die, Lao Ai will certainly be angry, but he has a debt and a debt. Kumogakure and Konoha are already hostile, and it will not change anything, so he can't vent his anger on Konoha, he can only fight Kurigakure. The two sides fought fiercely for an hour. Because there are no characters who can beat the heroes, the battle is not over yet, but Kurigakure has shown signs of defeat, and fewer Kurigakure ninjas are active. Kumogakure ninjas have strong physique and strong defense because most of them are injured and die. Rare. And the other, more and more Kurigakure ninjas, encountered the situation of being besieged. Gui Dengqing Barley and Xiao Ai have not yet decided the winner, but Xiao Ai has already vomited some blood, not from being beaten, but because of the aggravation of internal injuries, and Gui Dengqing Barley is also seriously injured. Lu Han hid in the tree. While noting Xiao Ai's battle with the ghost lamp, he was also observing the insight map. He was afraid that Kurigakure would endure and run away. If anyone dared to stay away from the center of the battlefield, Lu Han would go over and kill the ninja. Finally, due to the decreasing number of Kurigakure ninjas, the ghost lamp green barley was also besieged and injured. Damn it. I'm not reconciled. I'm not reconciled. Guidong Qingbara screamed wildly, then retreated violently, shouting, "Retreat!" The Kurigakure mission is defeated. Under the leadership of Gui Dengqing Barley, there were only 8 people left and evacuated from the battlefield. Xiao Ai wanted to chase the ghost lamp and Highland Barley, and her breath burst out again, but after running for more than 100 meters, she fell and rolled out, spitting blood. In fact, it is very difficult to destroy Xiao Ai's Raiden, Thunder-style, Chakra mode defense with the Suiten, Water-style, ninjutsu that Ghost Lantern is good at. The internal injury will be further aggravated. At this time, the injury in Xiao Ai's body was about to endanger his life, and some Kumogakure ninjas who were planning to chase the Kurigakure ninja stopped. Master! 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 After Xiao-ai fell, there were bursts of screams around. Kurigakure ninjas at the highest speed in the normal state. They ran separately and went in different directions. If there was no Luhan, maybe a few would escape. In view of the extraordinary strength of the ghost lamp, although Luhan could kill him in seconds, the chakra fluctuations would be too strong, and the magnifying move would be easy to be discovered, so Luhan didn't go to him first. Luhan had cleared all the Kurigakure ninjas, the ghost lamp and Highland barley had left the scope of the insight map. The full moon was in the sky, as if covered with blood. Not that the moon is Yuhi's, but the eyes of the ghost light barley are Yuhi's, severely congested and full of fine bloodshots. The ghost lamp and the Highland barley ran all the way, and seeing that no one was chasing after him, he gradually slowed down, and people gradually calmed down. How could this be? Dead. How can Kumogakure be so tough? No, it's not right. Could it be that there are high-level medical ninjas in the Kumogakure mission? All the ninjas who were seriously injured before were healed. The calm ghost lantern Highland barley found some problems, but he always tried to justify himself. The cold wind blew, and the high-speed moving ghost lamp felt a little chill in his body, and he looked to both sides subconsciously. At this moment, a blade of light shot out from the darkness and slid across the neck of the ghost in an instant. He was injured and in poor condition. The consuming ghost lantern Highland barley didn't have the strength to fight back at all, its head flew out, and the headless corpse ran forward for more than 10 meters before falling down. The head of the ghost lantern barley rolled under the tree. Hatake Sakumo appeared under the tree, and returned the knife to the scabbard. Call. Luhan appeared nearby. Seeing the scene, he couldn't help but say, "Steal the head again." White Fang touched his nose, but didn't speak. He still didn't understand what Luhan meant by stealing people's heads. Naturally, he couldn't have known that Luhan would lose rewards for killing enemies. All killed? Luhan asked. White Fang nodded, and Luhan asked him to kill those Kurigakure ninjas who were too seriously injured due to the afternoon attack and did not participate in the pursuit. With his strength, he could easily solve them. Dispose of the corpse and go back. Luhan said. The next day, early morning. Luhan woke up in the entanglement of legs and arms like Jade Lotus, moved his head out of Tsunade's arms, looked at Hyuga Luo-ning, who was hugging him like an octopus and was sleeping, smiled slightly, and stretched out his hand to grab it. Hyuga Luo-ning's ribs. Hyuga Luo-ning woke up after being harassed and snorted in dissatisfaction, but her jade arms wrapped around Luhan's neck and offered a sweet kiss. It's morning exercise time again. Luhan was about to make his next move, but he felt faint chakra fluctuations coming from the window. Lord Hangguang, the Kumogakure mission is back. Anbu Ninja said outside the window. Chapter 0686_Why don't you kill me? Come back. Luhan was taken aback, but he didn't expect that, just as the Kurigakure ninja analyzed, Kumogakure ninja dared to come to Konoha when Xiao-ai was seriously injured in the Fire Country. Two possibilities. First, Xiao-ai was too injured to be sent back to the border camp, so she came to Konoha. The second is that Xiao-ai is looking for trouble. Xiao-ai and Kumogakure think that Konoha deceived Kurigakure, making Kurigakure think that Kumogakure and Konoha are allied, so they want to attack Konoha's ally Kumogakure mission first. I see. Luhan responded to the outside. It's so annoying. Hyuga Luo-ning muttered in dissatisfaction when she knew that Luhan was going to be busy again. Tsunade was also woken up, looked up, reached out and pinched Hyuga Luo-ning's face and scolded with a smile. You little bastard, it's endless, forgot how you cried last night. People want to have a baby. Hyuga Luo-ning wrinkled her nose and muttered. Tsunade glared at her. Really, which pot can't be lifted without opening it? Okay, get up. Luhan sat up and said, Tsunade, put on your clothes quickly, maybe you need your help. The Kumogakure mission came to Konoha again. Unlike the last time when they were full of energy and arrogance, the number of Kumogakure mission members who came this time was less, and most of them were injured, and the blood on the clothes of many people had dried up. Under the surveillance of the Konoha police force, including Xiao Ai, several seriously injured Kumogakure ninjas were sent to the Konoha Medical Center, and other Kumogakure ninjas followed. However, people went to the medical center, but no one gave them treatment. You were blackmailing us before, and your Kumogakure Legion was still eyeing our borders. Why should you heal your wounds? If it weren't for your status as an envoy, you would have been arrested long ago. Konoha refused to give treatment, and most of the Kumogakure ninja kept silent, knowing that they had to wait for someone who could make a decision, but a few grumpy Kumogakure ninja made a fuss, and was stopped by other Kumogakure ninjas. Xiao Ai's face was pale, and she never said a word. Koharu Udatane happened to be handling official business in the medical department this morning. After getting the news, he rushed to the ward as soon as possible. There were people inside and outside the ward, including Kumogakure ninjas and Uchiha ninjas who were monitoring them. Koharu Udatane stood at the door and watched, but instead of ordering someone to heal, he talked to the other Kumogakure ninjas and stalked to find out what happened. Yesterday's action was carried out by Luhan and Anbu. Only Luhan and White Fang knew everything about Akatsuki. Koharu Udatane vaguely felt that this had something to do with Han Guang, but he couldn't be sure. Come here. Lord Cold Light. Lord Cold Light. Master Tsunade. There was a commotion at the door, and although everyone avoided to both sides, Luhan, whose face was sinking like water, and Tsunade, who was expressionless, entered the ward one after the other. Xiao Ai, who had been silent for a while, suddenly became extremely excited, suddenly sat up from the sickbed, and drank Luhan angrily with one finger. You shameless. Poof. Xiao Ai was furious, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. Master. Kumogakure ninjas around the sickbed were in a hurry. Have you been attacked? Luhan frowned with a black face in the actor mode. Please believe that I, Konoha, will never do such a thing. The two armies will not be killed when the two armies are fighting. We, Konoha, will not attack the mission. Do it. Luhan said that he was suspected of not recruiting himself, but in fact he knew what Xiao Ai was thinking, so he dared to say so. Moreover, the Kumogakure mission was attacked in the country of fire, and Konoha was the most suspected. Luhan doesn't know the situation, and it is reasonable to distance himself first. It's Kurigakure. The Kurigakure mission attacked us, said the Kumogakure ninja. What? Luhan was taken aback. Kurigakure mission. Why did they attack you? It's not because of you. Xiao Ai struggled to sit up again. You said that Konoha Kumogakure formed an alliance, and they... Poof. Xiao Ai spewed blood again and lay back. The corners of Luhan's mouth twitched faintly. He took it. So badly hurt and so angry. I said that Konoha and Kumogakure formed an alliance. When did I say that? Luhan frowned, and after thinking for a while, he showed a sudden look. No, Kurigakure must have misunderstood. At that time, the Kurigakure mission first proposed to us 300 million taels of compensation, and then increased the amount of compensation to the sky-high price of 500 million taels. They were crazy. I said at the time, the money has been given to Kumogakure, and there is no money left, hurry up. I said the money is given to you, but it's an excuse, they should have misunderstood. Xiao Ai was stunned. Not only he was stunned, everyone in the room was stunned. Still that question. Kurigakure actually asked you for 500 million taels, how much the hell did you rob? Everyone's eyes on Luhan became wrong. Especially Tsunade, looking at the back of Luhan's head, his eyes were already glowing. Luhan felt cold behind his back, and his expression froze. He had already noticed that there seemed to be a problem with the focus of everyone's attention, and immediately said, well, hurry up, heal the wound first, Tsunade. Go and heal Xiao Ai, That who, from Kumogakure. You come here and tell me what happened yesterday. I have to write a letter to Hokage, I think it's a misunderstanding. The southwestern border of the Fire Nation, among the mountains, underground. The incomparably huge cave was shrouded in a seal enchantment. In the middle of the enchantment was a high platform. On the high platform was a brazier the size of a house. The flames of the brazier illuminated the entire enchantment. The figure with white hair sat cross-legged on the bluestone near the brazier, and the chakra fluctuated and fluctuated, sometimes fierce, sometimes soft, sometimes fire, sometimes wind. His feet were pitch black, and whenever he checked his body when Carrot rages, cursed lines appear on his jet black feet. White Zetsu ghosts usually appear in the corner of the cave, holding a food box in his hand, looking at the white-haired figure from a distance. With a sneer at the corner of his mouth, he walked over slowly. The white-haired figure felt that someone was coming, and the breath on his body gradually calmed down and returned to calm. Don't waste your efforts. Senluo cursed you at the cost of his life, you can't break it. White Zetsu walked to the blue stone and put down the food box. Why didn't you kill me? The white-haired figure looked up at White Zetsu. This person is Sarutobi Hiruzen. Chapter-681-700 Sarutobi Hiruzen and White Zetsu. 44 years old, for a ninja, it can be said that he is in his prime. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is 44 years old at this moment, is as old as an old man in his 60s or 70s. His hair is all white, and his face is wrinkled like a knife. Out of the gully. More than a month ago, Senju Senra led people to attack Konoha, causing tens of thousands of casualties to Konoha. Senra, who is Master Mokudan, wood style, and owns Mangekyo Sharingan, came and went freely during the battle. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know why Senju Senra didn't. He died, but he knew that Senluo was here for revenge. Has lived for nearly 20 years without being a ghost or a ghost. Sarutobi Hiruzen understands Senluo's hatred for himself, and at the same time, he also understands that Senluo must die. Because once Senluo tells the truth of the year, the true thoughts about the decline of the Senju family, the consequences will be disastrous for Sarutobi Hiruzen. He has maintained his reputation for decades, and his greatness, and the admiration of the world for him, will be in vain on the day the truth is announced. Many things cannot stand investigation or scrutiny. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen can immediately deny everything Senju Senra said, but Senju Senra was born in the Konoha Anbu root organization, many people know that he owns the Mangekyo Sharingan belonging to Uchiha Kagami, which is something Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot explain. So he wants Senju to die. Konoha, who had just been hit hard, and chased Senju Senra for several days and nights, just to keep Senju Senra a secret. He succeeded. Senju Senra is not Sarutobi Hiruzen's opponent. He had the chance to escape, but he was willing to die with Sarutobi Hiruzen. After attracting Sarutobi Hiruzen to the designated place, he launched the forbidden technique on Sarutobi Hiruzen with his own life before his death, sealing Sarutobi Hiruzen's double foot. However, what Senju Senrao did not know was that after his death, Uchiha Madara did not kill Sarutobi Hiruzen as agreed, but imprisoned Sarutobi Hiruzen. For more than a month, since Senju Senra's death, Sarutobi Hiruzen has only seen one person, and that is White Zetsu. Sarutobi Hiruzen doesn't know who White Zetsu is, and hasn't seen Uchiha Madara, but White Zetsu has mentioned the cold light in front of him many times. ... What's the difference between you now and dead? White Zetsu walked to the brazier and turned his back to Sarutobi Hiruzen, his obliquely long shadow being pulled by the jumping firelight and constantly shaking. You who are alive may be more valuable. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent. For so long, he had fought, cursed, and tried to attack White Zetsu, but he didn't get any results, and he gave up long ago. People are knives and I am fish. Sarutobi Hiruzen knows his situation. Let Hangguang come to see me. Sarutobi Hiruzen said. White Zetsu always mentioned Hangguang, inside and out as if Hangguang was the mastermind behind the scenes. Although Sarutobi Hiruzen had doubts in his heart, it didn't prevent him from trying. The cold light has replaced you in charge of Konoha, I'm afraid it won't come. White Zetsu said with a sneer, however, he wants to ask you a question. What? Sarutobi Hiruzen said coldly. Since Konoha was attacked, you have disappeared again. Sunagakure, Amegakure, Kumogakure, and Kurigakure all have brothers to Konoha. Although Kurigakure was hit hard by Hangwang with his own power, the main army is complete and still has the power to fight. In addition to the Kumogakure army pressing the border and extorting 200 million taels from Konoha, Kurigakure also did the same, sending the first main army to land in the country of Vortex to form a coercion against the country of fire. They also came to blackmail Konoha. White Zetsu will Ninja World. The latest situation has been roughly shared with Sarutobi Hiruzen. In fact, for so long, he would tell Sarutobi Hiruzen about the situation outside every once in a while, so although Sarutobi Hiruzen was locked up, he knew a lot about the situation outside. Hangwang asked me to ask you, if you were replaced, how would you deal with the problems Konoha is facing now? White Zetsu turned to look at Sarutobi Hiruzen. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought about it for a while and answered this question seriously. Agree with Kumogakure's proposal, but keep the price down. After reaching an alliance with Kumogakure, send someone to Iwagakure village. Be sure to reach an alliance agreement with Iwagakure village. For the Kumogakure dispute, another 200 million taels can be used to make a short-term alliance with Iwagakure, but this matter cannot be publicized. White Zetsu once told Sarutobi Hiruzen how much Hangwang robbed, so Sarutobi Hiruzen automatically doubled Konoha's financial resources. After reaching an alliance with Kumogakure and Iwagakure, he tried his best to encourage them to use the country of rain to fight against Sunagakure and Amegakure, while Konoha dispatched at least half of his troops and marched into the country of Vortex. Kurigakure lost many strong men, although the number of ninjas is large, but it's not enough to worry about. This way, White Zetsu showed a satisfied smile. I will tell Hangwang what you said. White Zetsu has been trying to create an illusion, making Sarutobi Hiruzen mistakenly believe that he ended up in this end because of Hangwang's arrangement. However, White Zetsu didn't want Sarutobi Hiruzen to think that his party was Hangwang's subordinate, not his subordinate, but a cooperation between the two parties. In this way, White Zetsu would have enough reason to deceive Sarutobi Hiruzen when he turned against Hangwang in the future. For White Zetsu, or rather, for Uchiha Madara, Sarutobi Hiruzen is a bargaining chip against the cold in the future. What Uchiha Madara and Ju have done over the years is nothing more than to make the ninja world more chaotic. They do not need a peaceful and stable ninja world. The child with Rinnegan has not grown up yet, and Uchiha Madara wants to lay a solid foundation for him. So whoever wants to end the war, or rule the ninja world, Uchiha Madara will stop it. This is the reason why Uchiha Madara has never killed Sarutobi Hiruzen. Hangwang is an uncontrollable being. The speed of his growth is unbelievable. Although he is a martial artist now and likes to solve problems with strength, no one can guarantee what will happen to him in the future. Senju Hashirama was also a war madman. I don't know how many ninjas died at his hands, but what happened in the end? He did not forget the dream he made as a child. He became a saint. For Uchiha Madara, Sarutobi Hiruzen is a pawn that can change the world at any time. Have a good rest. White Zetsu floated away, moving away from the dark voice. I'll see you again. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked back at White Zetsu's leaving figure, with a gloomy expression on his face. Chapter 0688-Cold Light Strategy. The Land of Fire, the Hidden Village of Konoha. After arranging the healing of the Kumogakure mission, Luhan temporarily appeased the irritable Xiao Ai, and then asked the Kumogakure mission ninja about what happened last night, and then held a secret meeting in the third conference room. Before the difference, more than 20 ninjas participated in this secret meeting, in addition to Koharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyong, Hitaki Sakumo, Inazuka Tears, Uchiha Leiyang, Hyuga Heiyang, Tsunade, the Minister of Administration, the Minister of Health, the Vice Principal of the Ninja School, and the patriarchs of some large and medium-sized clans. It is worth mentioning that Hokage is also the principal of the ninja school, but now Sarutobi Hiruzen is missing, and Luhan is not Hokage, so the vice principal of the ninja school is temporarily in charge. Since Luhan seldom put on airs at the meeting, there was no pressure from Sarutobi Hiruzen's many years in office, so the atmosphere of the meeting was relatively relaxed. After the meeting started, Koharu Yuditane spoke first, frowning. How is it possible? Even if Kurigakure mistakenly thought that Kumogakure was allied with us, there is no need for them to attack the Kumogakure mission. Such a risky move angered the third generation of Hokage, and would only make them the situation as worse. Quote. Actually, if you think about it from another angle, it's not impossible. The person who immediately refuted Koharu Yuditane turned out to be Homura Mitokado. Compared with Koharu Yuditane, who has always been extremely active, Homura Mitokado is a very active person, both in meetings and in private. A silent person doesn't mean that he doesn't speak, but that he doesn't talk nonsense and rarely argues with others, but in many cases, his words will hit the nail on the head. What angle? Koharu Yuditane looked at Homura Mitokado. Kurigakure mission. Homura Mitokado said, let's not think about what happened to Kurigakure. Last night's action was not a decision made by Kurigakure, but a decision made by the Kurigakure mission. Time was running out. They definitely didn't have time to seek instructions from Kurigakure village, so they is acting without authorization. Quote. So what? Koharu Yuditane asked again. The leader of the Kurigakure mission this time, Gaidon Chinchi, is a very impulsive and conceited person. He is quite famous among the younger generation of Kurigakure. Lord Hangwang arranged for the Kurigakure mission to see that we have prepared money for Kumogakure. From the perspective of the Highland Barley, he would definitely feel that we, Konoha, gave Kumogakure the money we robbed from Kurigakure. Inside and outside, we, Konoha, have nothing to lose. Quote. What a humiliation. If everyone here is changed, if this happens, no matter how good your heart is, you will not be calm. Homura Mitokado glanced around the conference table. Everyone nodded one after another and looked at each other. Before the meeting started, they had communicated with each other and already knew what happened. So, with the impulsive character of the ghost lamp, the decision to attack Kurigakure is rash and unsafe, but it is not incomprehensible. Homura Mitokado continued, as for the purpose, it is natural to want to wipe out the Kumogakure mission and put the blame on it. Give us Konoha, as long as we do it cleanly, we, Konoha, will take the blame, and in their opinion, our alliance with Kumogakure will collapse immediately. Quote. So it is. Lord Menyon is right. Many people nodded, looking like they were suddenly open. I have to admit that although this person is impulsive and conceited, he is also considered bold and scheming. Homura Mitokado smiled. Unfortunately, his conceit hurt him. He miscalculated the strength of the Kumogakure mission, which led to the incident. Exposed. Having said that, Homura Mitokado looked at Luhan. Although he didn't like Luhan, he had to admit that compared to Han Guang's, the ghost lamp's strategy was nothing compared to that of Han Guang. At this moment, he finally understood the meaning of Han Guang's previous arrangement. No effort to confuse the Kurigakure mission into thinking that Konoha had an alliance with Kumogakure, causing the Kurigakure mission to attack the Kumogakure mission, so that Konoha, though not allied with Kumogakure, seemed to be allied. The others also looked at Han Guang with admiration. They naturally knew that everything was planned by Luhan. Only White Fang looked strange, because apart from Luhan, only he knew what the real situation was. Luhan glanced at the people present, and his heart was settled. With Homura Mitokado's foreshadowing, he talked about his plan, and it was simple. There were more than 20 people present, and they were the core rulers of Konoha. Only a few major legion leaders were not there, that's it. Luhan held this meeting, and the reason why he called them all was to announce his plan to gain more support. Lord Hangguang, am I right? Homura Mitokado asked, perhaps sensing the abnormality in Luhan's expression. That's right. Luhan glanced at Homura Mitokado. You're right when you say that the ghost lamp is impulsive and conceited, but his intelligence is not as high as you think. Besides, the two envoys of the Kurigakure mission, the other one is the uncle of Gui Dengqing Barley, Gui Dengtu Shan, who became famous in the world during the First Ninja World War, not only powerful, but also extremely intelligent, he would not be so reckless. Quote. Oh, Homura Mitokado was surprised. That's as you think, this is indeed a game, but in order to prompt the Kurigakure and Kumogakure embassies to meet, I will first. Luhan explained his plan. This is an uncomplicated plan, but it is a bit complicated to say, because if any link is wrong, it will lead to failure. Following Luhan's remarks, everyone else in the conference room was stunned. When Luhan said that he used the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode to deceive the Ghost Lantern Highland Barley, no one had any doubts. The implementation has long proven that cold light can even be copied by Kekkei Genkei, although in this regard, many people have been different guesses, but Luhan is indeed able to obtain other people's skills, there is no doubt about that. Half an hour after nightfall, the Kurigakure mission finally followed the traces laid out in the line of sight and found the Kumogakure mission. The two sides were at war. I was cruising nearby to prevent any Kurigakure ninjas from escaping. They are the key to the plan, once someone is alive. Escape, the attack on the Kurigakure mission will be revealed, and the plan will fail. Fortunately, no accident. After Luhan finished speaking, everyone in the conference room looked shocked. All stunned by this plan. Chapter 0689 _ down. Is this plan adventurous, impulsive, might bring Konoha into doom? It doesn't matter anymore. Because the plan has been successful. With the cooperation of Han Guang, White Fang, and Hanbu's tolerance, this plan was implemented perfectly. Temper, once let him know about this, the catastrophe of Kurigakure will come. Homura Mitokado felt that he should now take back his previous evaluation of the Ghost Lamp and Highland Barley. Compared with Han Guang, Ghost Dengqing Barley's strategy is more than a dwarf. In front of him, Luhan, he seems to have no brains. What's even more frightening is that if Han Guang didn't tell the plan, no one would know the truth. Both Koharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado are smart, but neither of them guessed the truth. Kurigakure and Kumogakure were all scammed, but they didn't even know they were being scammed. Luhan was very satisfied with the reactions of the people present. What he wanted was this effect. He wanted to let these people know that Hangguang, are not only the best in the ninja world, but also have the courage to take the position of Hokage. It is worth mentioning that everyone present did not have the name Yuhi. Luhan didn't find Yuhi's name, because he didn't know why those people were still named Yuhi. Only a few people, such as the Shimura family patriarch and Sarutobi Lake Biwa, maintained the Yuhi name because of Danzo's death. As for Koharu Udatane and Homura Mitokado, they used to be Yuhi, but they have changed to Orange recently. They don't like Luhan, but they won't hurt Luhan anymore. The reason is that Konoha at this time cannot be separated from them. Luhan. Just like the Konoha that used to be inseparable from Sarutobi Hiruzen. The current Konoha is already precarious. If there is no more powerful person like Han Guang to shock all parties, I am afraid that Kumogakure would not have sent a mission, but would have directly entered the country of fire. This matter is of great importance. Everyone will rot in their stomachs after hearing it. Luhan said again, just pretend that nothing happened. Remember, the fact is that the Kurigakure mission attacked the Kumogakure mission, just as Mr. Menyon analyzed. Intended to put the blame on us Konoha, and it failed, understand? Yes, Lord Hangguang. Everyone agreed with a bang, unprecedentedly neat. Lord Hangguang, I have another question. Inuzuka's tears were the one who spoke. Lord Tears, please speak. Luhan looked. This matter is a foregone conclusion, and the third generation of Raikage will probably fight against Kurigakure, but... Inuzuka frowned and was very worried. For them, Kurigakure attacked because we deceived Kurigakure and claimed to have formed an alliance with Kumogakure. I'm afraid that time, Kumogakure will also. What Inuzuka said tearfully was a key point, and Konoha was responsible anyway. There's no need to worry about this matter. Luhan said, glancing at everyone. First, we Konoha and Kumogakure are already hostile, and they are coercing us, and we release rumors to hurt them. The son of the third generation of Hokage is in the village at this time. As long as he is in Konoha village, Kumogakure will not dare to do anything to Muyu. This matter, by the way. Luhan looked at Tsunade. Tsunade, how is Xiao-Ai's injury? The name Xiao-Ai was first mentioned by Luhan, and it has been recognized. Tsunade knew who Luhan was talking about. Lord Hangguang. Tsunade stood up directly and said formally, his injury is from the inside out. It is difficult to heal immediately. I have already suppressed his injury. I am afraid it will take 3 days to let him get rid of it. Injury. Okay. Luhan nodded and snapped his fingers. It is best to delay the treatment effect on him for 10 days or 8 days, and then completely heal his injuries. Understood. Tsunade nodded. Luhan raised his hand, motioned Tsunade to sit down, and said, Third. I have made an agreement with Hokage, the third generation, that in half a month, we will compete in the Valley of the End. If I can defeat him, he will retreat. What? It's going to be a duel. This. Everyone changed color and looked at each other. Tsunade's eyes widened, and she wanted to get up and yell, no, but she held back and froze again. What are you worried about? Is his husband really not the opponent of the third generation of Hokage? Third generation of Hokage has shaken the ninja world for many years and has never been defeated. This is the reason for the discoloration of the people present. They subconsciously felt that the third generation of Hokage was too strong, but on second thought, isn't the cold light strong? In terms of record, Hangguang can already crush all the most powerful people in the world. Although Hanzo had a frightening record in his early years, he has already lost to Hangguang, so naturally he can't compare. This is the most important point. Luhan glanced at him and continued, the fact that the mission was attacked alone is not enough for the third generation of Hokage to cancel the duel with me. After all, his son is not dead, as long as the duel goes on as scheduled, so whether we Konoha and Kumogakure will fight or not will be decided by the result of the duel. It will not be affected by other factors. Quote. Everyone whispered, and their eyes on Luhan changed again. Hangguang is not only strong, courageous, and strategic, but also dedicated to Konoha. Not to mention his previous record, now he is going to fight with Hokage, the third generation of eyes. This brings them to Sarutobi Hiruzen. So many years of fighting in the ninja world, the reason why Konoha did not have a large-scale war with Kumogakure is because Sarutobi Hiruzen, who has dueled with Hokage 3 again and again, never let Hokage take advantage of the third generation. If I mention the election of Hokage now, will they agree? Luhan thought to himself and glanced at Uchiha Lei-young. Luhan naturally couldn't propose to choose himself as Hokage. It would be too deliberate, too utilitarian, and would damage his image, and he had already explained to Uchiha Lei-young, and once he got his advice, he would immediately bring this up at the meeting. No, I'm too impatient. Luhan immediately looked away again. It was still early, Sarutobi Hiruzen had not been missing long enough. Luhan didn't want to backfire and arouse the vigilance of Koharu Udatain and others. Cough. Luhan cleared his throat and said loudly, I have a senior appointment to announce. Chapter 0690-being watched by the prodigal daughter-in-law. Luhan does not have senior appointments. Because he is not only not a Hokage, he is not even an agent of Hokage. He is only temporarily acting as a Hokage. For low-level positions, Luhan can be appointed at will, but high-level positions are not allowed. There are restrictions on this situation. Set up with ambition. At the beginning, Danzo was Hokage's assistant and had ambitions to act as Hokage. And Sarutobi Hiruzen will always leave Konoha for various reasons. Once he leaves, Danzo will temporarily replace the power of Hokage. If there is no restriction, Danzo can appoint cronies to occupy important positions, and even reappoint advisors to make Sarutobi Hiruzen empty, thereby re-establishing the power of Hokage. Election of Hokage, to the top of the Hokage. Now, the original regulations restricting Danzo also restrict Luhan. Senior appointment. Koharu Udatain said immediately, Lord Hangguang, it seems that you don't have this right. Proposal. Luhan glanced at Koharu Yutane, unable to say anything else, and immediately said, "In view of the excellent performance of Anbu Captain Hitaki Sakumo in this plan against Kurigakure and Kumogakure, and the identity of Hitaki Sakumo has already been exposed, there are other conditions for concurrent positions, so I propose that Anbu Captain Hitaki Sakumo be added as a senior advisor to Konoha, who is on the Konoha Core Resolution meeting and has the right to impeach Hokage." Quote, "It's not just a senior appointment, it's a superlative." In this matter, Luhan did not have a vote. Consultant. It is possible. Yeah, White Fang is too young. Isn't Lord Hangguang younger? There was a lot of discussion, and no one disagreed with White Fang. At most, I think White Fang, who is in his 20s, is just a little younger, but Luhan is a precedent. He is Hokage's assistant and the first-ranked high-level advisor. He was appointed by Sarutobi Hiruzen, so age does not matter. Vote, I propose, I agree. Luhan said directly. Koharu Yutane pondered for a while before saying, agree. Homura Mitokado, agreed. Inazuka Tears, agreed. Hyuga Huyang, agreed. Except that Hitaki Sakumo is a party and has no right to vote, this matter is unanimously approved. Both Koharu Yutane and Homura Mitokado knew that White Fang and Hangguang were very close. Both of them were captains of Anbu and had a good personal relationship, but they also considered that White Fang's loyalty to Sarutobi Hiruzen was beyond doubt, and he was the one that Sarutobi Hiruzen trusted the most. The person, White Fang's reputation has always been excellent, and I have never heard that he has ever used power for personal gain, so he expressed his support. At present, there are 4 consultants in Konoha village, namely Luhan, Koharu Yutane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyang. 4 people are prone to problems, and it is easy to have 2 votes to 2 votes, and White Fang is added to the 5th. A consultant can just solve this problem. In this way, the minority can obey the majority, of course, on the premise that Luhan does not use the power of 1 vote approval or veto. However, what Koharu Yutane and Homura Mitokado don't know is that Luhan made White Fang a consultant to prepare for the selection of Hokage in the future. When it comes to the selection and impeachment of Hokage, it is the advisor who has the most right to speak out. Luhan has also weighed between White Fang and Inazuka's Tears. In the end, he chose White Fang. Luhan believed that White Fang was supporting him, and he had no selfishness. At this time, Konoha had no more suitable candidate than Luhan. Selfishness naturally said otherwise. As for Inazuka's Tears, Luhan was still not at ease. Besides, Inazuka Tears has a detached status, and the right to speak is no worse than that of a consultant, and there is no need to send him to the position of consultant. The matter was settled and White Fang became a consultant. Before the meeting ended, Luhan issued 2 more orders. The first was to spread rumors that Kumogakure had successfully extorted Konoha and spread it to the ninja world. After the meeting, the crowd dispersed. Luhan and Tsunade first went to visit Xiao Ai, denounced Kurigakure's atrocities in front of Xiao Ai, and promised to write a letter to Lao Ai to explain the matter in person. Then Luhan returned home and wrote a letter at his desk. To make a full play, Luhan had to show Lao Ai clearly that he wanted to get rid of his responsibilities. More importantly, this letter would be the key to provoking Lao Ai to attack Kurigakure, and to make Xiao Ai's situation a little more miserable. The anger of Lao Ai jumped further. The mansion in the forest, in the study. Luhan sat cross-legged on the wooden slump, crouched on the wooden table, and wrote quickly in the scroll. The room was very quiet, only the rustling of writing. Tsunade entered the study with the fruit plate, put the fruit plate down lightly, and looked at her husband who was writing seriously. Tsunade felt proud from the bottom of her heart. This scene will come so early. Han is only 17 years old. Luhan noticed that Tsunade was coming, but didn't look up. His mind was on the scroll. Tsunade seemed to have remembered something. His face gradually became cold, and he stared at Luhan. For a long time, seeing Luhan ignored her, she became a little discouraged. Hair, all kinds of styles, are fully revealed at this moment. She lay on the opposite side of the table, with a blurred look in her eyes, and winked at Luhan. Luhan looked up at her, smiled slightly, and immediately lowered his head to write again. Tsunade curled her lips angrily, then got up and walked around behind Luhan, holding Luhan in her arms from behind. The aroma lingered on Luhan. She bowed her head and kissed Luhan's ear, extra intimacy. Luhan had a creepy feeling. He knew Tsunade wasn't the kind of woman who would fool around. There is nothing to be courteous, and it is either a traitor or a thief. What are you doing? Luhan turned his head sideways and squinted. Tsunade immediately pecked at the corner of Luhan's lips, and then shook and coquettishly said in a sweet voice, "Who's Sir-kun? I heard that you looted the treasure house of Kurigakure village and emptied all the money in it, can you? Why can't we share it with others, they are so poor?" Luhan suddenly turned into a bitter face. When it was over, he was targeted by the prodigal daughter-in-law. Luhan understood that if he didn't give it to him, his life would be a mess. 2 days later, outside the northeastern border of the Fire Nation, the Kumogakure camp. Report. Mission and Konoha's information. The sturdy Kurigakure village ninja broke into the meeting tent and hurried to Lao Ai's side. Chapter 0691-I's decision. There are a total of 2 intelligence scrolls, to be precise, 2 handwritten letters, one from Xiao Ai and the other signed Han Guang. Lao Ai suspended the meeting and read Xiao Ai's handwritten letter first. In the letter, Xiao Ai explained the situation on that day in general, and then denounced the audacity of the Kurigakure mission, and claimed that he would personally led someone to attack Kurigakure, hoping his father would allow him. In the end, he naturally drenched Luhan's blood on his head. He described Luhan as a shameless, treacherous, shameless villain who pretended to be the strongest. Lao Ai has a steel scale in his heart. He knows that his son is a very emotional person. In fact, before today's meeting, Lao Ai has already received rumors. There are rumors that Konoha has formed an alliance with Kumogakure. The handwritten letter is still fast, so he is mentally prepared. It's just that he didn't expect that Kurigakure would attack the Kumogakure mission because of this. Lao Ai subconsciously thought that there was a conspiracy. But after that, when he saw his son spraying Hangguang, he felt that he thought too much, because Hangguang didn't deny that he deceived Kurigakure, but just said that it was a misunderstanding. People with ghosts in their hearts would not dare to do this. After reading his son's handwritten letter, Lao Ai's face was already black, and he opened the scroll of Rakage personally signed Han Guang. In the letter, Luhan downplayed that it was a misunderstanding, and then strongly denounced Kurigakure atrocities, and kept emphasizing that this was a conspiracy of Kurigakure. They attacked Kumogakure in order to frame Konoha. As a result, they misestimated the strength of the Kumogakure mission. Failed. Regarding Xiao Ai, Luhan said that Xiao Ai's injury was too serious, and if it is not treated properly, it may leave sequelae. He also said that his wife Tsunade Grandmaster Medical Ninjutsu, leaving Xiao Ai in Konoha temporarily, so that Lao Ai can rest assured. Finally, Luhan talked about the duel again, hoping to get an official reply from Lao Ai. Party. Lao Ai directly announced the end of the meeting and returned to the handsome tent. He immediately recruited the Kumogakure ninja who came back to deliver the letter. Kumogakure ninja who came back to deliver the letter, and the messenger sent by Konoha, went on the road together to reach the Kumogakure camp, so the 2 letters were sent to Lao Ai at the same time. Lao Ai first asked the Kumogakure messenger who came back to deliver the letter in detail about the situation that night. The letter can only give the general situation, and there are not too many details. Lao Ai wants to ask clearly. As a result, as written in Xiao Ai's letter, the Kurigakure mission attacked the Kumogakure mission because Kumogakure was allied with Konoha. Then, Lao Ai summoned the Konoha messenger. Anbu ninja Kato came alone. Facing the famous generation of the strongest old eye, Kato was still relatively nervous, but the years of tempering in Anbu have made him lose his youthful impetuousness and become more and more calm. Lao Ai asked him some questions, nothing more than, "How is my son's injury? How do you Konoha arrange for treatment? Have you ever caught a Kurigakure ninja in the land of fire? And so on. Lao Ai made a side-by-side attack, just to confirm one thing, that is, the Kumogakure mission was attacked by the Kurigakure mission. Is there a conspiracy? Kato Kai did not participate in the action that day, mainly because he did not meet the selection criteria, so he did not know anything about the inside story. He didn't know the inside story, and he knew no more than Lao Ai, so naturally he wouldn't reveal his flaws. Go back and tell Hangguang to treat my son with all your heart. After all, it happened in your country of fire, and you have a great responsibility. If there is another accident, don't blame me for being rude. Lao Ai finally said, waving Kato to break out. Kato was about to leave, but he seemed to remember something, stopped and said, Lord Hokage, about your duel with Lord Hangguang, look. I will send an envoy to Hangguang to explain this matter in person, you don't have to say it anymore. Lao Ai also knew what Kato was thinking, so he didn't promise it right away. Kato was disappointed, but he didn't dare to say more and left. Lao Ai watched Kato Kai walk out of the camp, his face became darker and darker, and finally he couldn't hold back his anger, and snorted coldly, hello, you cold light. Bang! Lao Ai slapped the long table with a slap, and the sawdust suddenly splashed, and the long table was slapped to pieces. Konoha found a reason to hold Xiao Ai, how could Lao Ai not be angry? In fact, Lao Ai is very aware of Lu Han's intention. It is nothing more than asking Lao Ai to confirm the duel immediately. As long as the duel is confirmed, then Konoha's release of rumors can be revealed. Whether it is a war or a peace, the result of the duel shall prevail. In fact, Lao Ai really wanted to fight Lu Han. But he has a feeling of being calculated, and he is extremely upset, and his son is in Konoha's hands, which makes him unable to fight back against Hangguang. Although the two sides are hostile, they have not completely torn their faces. There is still room for maneuver without a large army fighting. Now that Xiao Ai is under control, Lao Ai can't take the initiative to challenge things. After thinking over and over again, Lao Ai invited several cronies who accompanied him to the battle to explain the situation to them. Konoha is so brave. How dare you detain my nephew? Lao Ai's cousin, Aiman, who is now 38 years old, said angrily, and that Kurigakure, he really ate the guts of a bear and a leopard. Young master is detained in Konoha. Sam Rocky, another close confidant of Lao Ai, who is nearly 50 years old and tall and thin, frowned and worried. This matter is not easy to handle. Hangguang acts ruthlessly and has no taboos. Why not? Sam Rocky looked at Lao Ai and pondered. I see, I will take someone to go to Konoha in person, and bring out the young master first. After all, the young master is a messenger, and it is expected that Konoha will not dare to let him go. Indeed, we should rescue the young master first, otherwise we will be timid and difficult to act. I'm afraid that Konoha will find reasons to delay it again and again, and he doesn't know how much the young master's injury is. We Kumogakure Grandmaster have too few ninjas in medical ninjutsu, and Tsunade's medical skills are well known all over the world and have the name of medical saints. If we can let her treat the young master, it will be better than if we bring the young master back for treatment. Quote. Several of Lao Ai's cronies discussed at length, but couldn't say why. It's not that they couldn't think of a solution, but that it involved Lao Ai's son, Xiao Ai, the successor of Hokage. They were afraid of making a mistake and hurting Xiao Ai. No need to say any more. Lao Ai finally made a final decision. Let's put my son's business aside for a while, we won't move, and Konoha won't dare to mess around. I'll leave the camp for a few days and make Kurigakure pay the price. Chapter 0692 This can't be done. Lao Ai thought very clearly that Konoha did all this and released alliance rumors, nothing more than to coerce Kumogakure to form a real alliance with Konoha. Under this premise, Xiao Ai will never suffer any harm in Konoha. Instead, he will be offered up and receive the best treatment, so he is not in a hurry to rescue his son. Besides, the medical ability of Kumogakure village is indeed not as good as that of Konoha. All he wants to do now is to avenge his son. If Kurigakure dared to stroke the tiger's whiskers, Lao Ai would let them understand what is the wrath of the king. Doing so can also show Konoha that no matter what happens afterward or the outcome of the duel, Kumogakure and Kurigakure are not the same. While I'm away, if there is an emergency, you should discuss it and make up your mind. If it really doesn't work, report the situation to the village and have several consultants hold a meeting to decide. Lao Ai ordered repeatedly. Time flies, another 3 days have passed. About the alliance between Kumogakure and Konoha, and the fact that Hangwang is going to duel with Raikage Ai, the third generation ofAis, are noisy and rumored. These two things are contradictory. In fact, this is also Lu Han's strategy. He made preparations with both hands. If Lao Ai publicly declared that he denied the alliance, the rumors would be self-defeating, but in this case, he could no longer deny the duel. If he denied it, it would give the world a feeling of fear of Konoha and the Cold Light. Not allied with Konoha and not fighting with the Cold Light. Are you afraid? Lao Ai will definitely think of this. With such a good face, it is naturally impossible for him to bear the name of a coward. On the other hand, if Lao Ai tacitly agreed to form an alliance, it would naturally be the best result. Konoha and Kumogakure don't have to fight anymore. Kumogakure is also embarrassed, can't tear up the covenant. That is, it is a pity for Lu Han not to be able to fight with Lao Ai. This afternoon, the mansion in the forest. It was only 2 hours after lunch, and there were bursts of unbearable noise from the bedroom, euphemistically, exercise after dinner. In the past few days, Lu Han was so exhausted that he almost collapsed on Tsunade. A few days ago, Lu Han was targeted by Tsunade and was forced to hand over an astronomical amount of money, 500 million taels. Soldier Kumogakure did not ask for money, and Soldier Kurigakure was scolded and walked away. As a result, Lu Han's small treasury was still empty. However, Lu Han was not very at ease with Tsunade. He was afraid that she would lose a big gamble again, so the money was not given to her alone, but was given to her and Hyuga Luoning to supervise together. However, Lu Han made some mistakes, and Tsunade still monopolized the money. Because Hyuga Luoning is not very keen on money, she is the eldest lady of the Hyuga family, she has been pampered since she was a child, and has never been short of money, especially after marrying Lu Han and Tsunade. In fact, she is often better than Hyuga. Luoning is rich, but she always loses all her money and often becomes very poor, so she is obsessed with money. Tsunade, who got the astronomical figure, was elated, but seeing Lu Han seemed very distressed and unhappy, he tried his best to comfort his little husband these days. Lu Han is always responsive, a man can't say no. There was a violent storm, and it returned to calm in a hearty burst. Tsunade was lying in Lu Han's arms, panting, and leaned with Lu Han for a while in a coquettish voice. He beat Lu Han's back and rubbed his waist. Then he got up and put on his clothes, and went to the basement to work on it for a while. After a long time, he sneaked out the door carrying a large burden. She does this every day these days. All the money Lu Han gave her was kept in the basement. She said that she was worried about keeping it at home, because it was too conspicuous for people to know, and she and Lu Han would both go out on assignments, and there was a risk of being stolen, so she shipped the money out in batches. As for where the money she shipped out was hidden, Lu Han didn't know, and didn't want to know. Giving her money is just to make her happy. To Lu Han, this money has little meaning. Too much money is just a number. Even if Tsunade loses all the money, Lu Han doesn't care, just don't lose all of it. Gambling hurts people, it's a bottomless pit. Lu Han didn't want to conflict with Tsunade because of this. Fortunately, Tsunade had a lot of peace after marrying him. There were small bets, but there were not many big bets. Moreover, with Lu Han's status reaching ultimate, no one in Konoha would dare to treat Tsunade as a fat sheep. Lao Ai has not given me any news yet, so I can't help myself. Lu Han lay on the soft collapse and thought about the current situation, then he stood up beating his waist, and he couldn't help but sighed. If it goes on like this, it's not a good idea. It is impossible to die young. Quote. Hyuga Luoning was not at home and went out to visit friends. Among Konoha's large and small factions, it seems that in every tribe, there are female ninjas of the same age as Hyuga Luoning. Luhan is in power of Konoha, and naturally there are many people who fawn over him. Tsunade with a bad temper, so Hyuga Luoning became the focus of their contact. These days, even the younger Uchiha Makoto has come to visit Hyuga Luoning alone and invited her out to party. Luhan went out of the house and went to see the reconstruction of the west of the village. The buildings have been rebuilt, but the tree transplants have not been completed. This is an extremely labor-intensive project, and it is also a very necessary project. Konoha is full of woods. The village is the real Konoha. The role of the woods is not only aesthetics. From a strategic point of view, there are trees and forests, which is the main battleground of Konoha ninjas. After inspecting the reconstruction, Luhan went to Anbu to read the recent information summary, then returned to the west of the village and came to a courtyard with an extremely large area. There are more than 20 ninjas living here, all Kumogakur ninjas, and Anbu and Hyuga ninjas are jointly guarding the courtyard. In the middle of the courtyard, there is a huge open-air training ground. 2 Kumogakur elites, Jonin, and the fight is very fierce. After 5 consecutive days of treatment, Xiaoai's injury has recovered 90%, and the speed of recovery is beyond Tsunade's expectations. Xiaoai, as long as there is no life and death battle, it's not a big problem. This can't be done, the recovery is so fast. Luhan stood under the shade of the tree and looked at it for a while, then pinched his chin and thought about how to trick Xiaoai again. Chapter 0693_Blame Me. Luhan stood in the shade of the tree and watched for a long time, without saying a word, and Xiaoai never noticed that Luhan was coming. He had entered a state of ecstasy in the melee combat with the 2 elite Jonin. I have to say that stupid people have their own different stupidity, and geniuses are very similar, they are hard-working enough. His legs and hit his knees again and again. Xiaoai finally noticed Luhan standing under the tree with the corner of his eye, and stopped immediately, and the 2 elite Jonin also stopped. Down, all tired and panting, covered in beads of sweat. Compared with Xiaoai, their bodies are also sturdy. They are close to 1.9 meters tall, but they are half a head shorter than Xiaoai. They look stronger than Xiaoai, but their muscles are not as firm as Xiaoai's. Xiaoai was only sweating slightly, and they looked extremely tired. On the other side of the field, there were 7 or 8 Kumogakur ninjas on standby, who should take turns to be Xiaoai's sparring. What are you doing here? Xiaoai took the towel from the entourage, wiped her face, and said badly to Luhan. The more this guy looks at Luhan, the less he likes to look at, and his anger has not subsided. Every time he sees Luhan, he doesn't give Luhan a good face. Luhan never becomes angry because of it, but always smiles, which also makes Xiaoai not so afraid of Luhan. He is not afraid. It does not mean that other Kumogakur ninjas are not afraid. Han Guang's reputation is too fierce, so every time Luhan comes to see Xiaoai, Xiaoai makes a rude remark, and those Kumogakur ninjas will be a little nervous, for fear of conflict. The group of them tied together is not enough for Luhan to fight alone. It seems that you are recovering well, Luhan said quietly, holding the handle of the knife in his hand, and walked towards Xiaoai. Xiaoai glared at Luhan. Lord Cold Light. Lord Hangguang, you have something to say. Young master is young and vigorous, don't take offense. Hoo. Several figures flashed in front of Xiaoai, blocking Xiaoai tightly, as if afraid that Luhan would cut Xiaoai with a knife. Don't be nervous. Luhan stopped, looked at Xiaoai, who was an expert, and then took off the sword of frightening Hong Kong from his waist, and threw it back into the space backpack. It seemed that it disappeared out of thin air. You guys, what are you afraid of? Get out of the way. I see what he dares to do to me. Xiaoai angrily took a few steps towards Luhan, pulling aside all the Kumogakur ninjas who were standing in front of him. Master, don't be impulsive. Master, calm down, your injury is not healed yet. All the Kumogakur ninjas persuaded Xiaoai for a while. At the same time, Lu Han had already taken off all the weapons on his body, threw them back into the space backpack, and rolled up his sleeves again, and then said aloud, "Actually, I'm here to apologize." The surroundings suddenly fell silent, and Xiao Ai and the other Kumogakur ninjas all looked at Lu Han. "Apologize." Lu Han spread his hands and said to Xiao Ai, "I know you are not happy, on the one hand, because I punched you away and you were not convinced, on the other hand, because you were attacked, has something to do with me." Xiao Ai's face suddenly turned to Yuhi, and Lu Han said that he was knocked flying with a punch. "What a shame. So I'm going to apologize to you." Lu Han continued, "I'll give you a chance now, come and hit me, come and come, I promise not to fight back, hit you until your anger is gone." Xiao Ai was stunned. Other Kumogakur ninjas all showed incredible expressions. In order to calm down his young master, Han Guang actually condescended to be a human flesh bag. "You said it. You can't fight back." Xiao Ai excitedly took a few steps towards Lu Han and moved her arms at the same time. "There are so many people here, but they all heard it, you can't go back on your word." "Of course, I promise not to fight back." Lu Han smiled slightly. Several figures appeared on the roof in the north of the courtyard, on the house in the south, under the corners of the surrounding walls and under the shade of the trees. All of them were Konoha Anbu ninjas, who came out to watch the excitement when they heard the movement. Everyone heard it. Han Guang said he didn't fight back, he did it of his own accord. Xiao Ai shouted to the surrounding, seeing more and more people watching. Xiao Ai looked at Lu Han again and raised a fist the size of a casserole. Shaking at Lu Han, "You asked for it yourself. Call _." Xiao Ai is strong, but not slow. She almost blinked her eyes and rushed to Lu Han, punching Lu Han's cheek. His face was full of excitement, thinking that he was about to punch Han Guang out, almost drunk. Lu Han could see all of Xiao Ai's movements clearly. He was used to fighting at a super fast pace, so Xiao Ai's movements were really too slow in his eyes. Xiao Ai slammed a punch, and Lu Han instantly ducked back. Xiao Ai's face changed, and she changed her moves in an instant, slamming her elbows. Lu Han's lower body didn't move, his upper body flickered to dodge. Xiao Ai's long legs were like whips, and he attacked Lu Han's waist with a deafening whistling sound. The attack range of one move was large. Lu Han had to bully himself closer to Xiao Ai, and then swayed and dodged. With a stormy attack, Xiao Ai inherited the fighting characteristics of Lao Ai. The attack force is heavy, more than calm, and lacks changes. Of course, because his strength has reached a certain level, in the eyes of others, his attack is still fast. With his fingers, he seemed to have 17 or 8 hands and feet, and violently attacked Lu Han. But he still couldn't touch Lu Han's clothes. Lu Han is like a small boat in the raging sea, walking with the wind, swaying with the waves, dodging, just dodging. Let Xiao Ai attack, all dodged. Whether it was Kumogakur or Anbu ninja, we're all stunned. Among the people present, Lu Han was the first and Xiao Ai was the second. Therefore, in their eyes, Xiao Ai's strength was terrifying. After attacking for a moment, Xiao Ai stopped abruptly, stared at Lu Han and shouted, "Didn't you say let me fight?" "Yes, but I didn't say no to hide, I just said no to fight back." "You can't hit me, do you blame me?" Lu Han raised an eyebrow at Xiao Ai, full of provocation. Xiao Ai couldn't be excited, and suddenly roared, and the violent chakra fluctuations in the whole body erupted. Before, Xiao Ai didn't use chakra, he was afraid that he would kill people, but now he was so stimulated by Lu Han that he didn't care so much. His whole body burst into blue light, and he used the Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode to attack Lu Han even more. Brutal attack. Chapter-681-700 The dead man is calculating again. Lu Han didn't dare to trust him. The current Xiao Ai has the strength of a level 50 gold boss, the top super elite Jonin. It's better if he doesn't need chakra. He can use him to show his full strength. Lu Han doesn't want to be true of being beaten. Continuing to switch chakras, Lu Han's movements became more agile. Facing Xiao Ai's brutal attack, Lu Han still managed to dodge everything. After all, there is a huge gap between Xiao Ai's strength and Lu Han. Although he is good at melee combat, Lu Han is good at speed and super agility. If 3 Xiaoai or 2 Xiaoai are besieging, Lu Han will not be able to do this. Calmly dodge, however, Xiaoai has only 1. There were real exclamations around them. They were amazed at Xiaoai's attack power when the injury was not healed, and they were even more amazed at Lu Han Bianyi Buji's dodging ability. You're playing with me. The less I couldn't reach Lu Han, the more anxious she became, and she roared in embarrassment. I'm just kidding you. Lu Han replied lightly, and the excited Xiaoai almost vomited blood. Damn, you forced me, Xiaoai roared wildly. At this moment, his speed increased sharply, the ground under his feet burst, and he rushed to Lu Han, and his knees hit fiercely. Recurrent storm. At this moment, all the Anbu ninjas sweated for Lu Han, because it seemed that they could not escape. Lu Han has many abilities that cannot be used, and it is indeed difficult to dodge this blow, but Lu Han didn't want to dodge at all, but he saw his arms crossed in front of him, and he supported his body with 1 foot. Boom! The terrifying shock wave swept across the courtyard, and the ground was thrown open by the violent air current. The onlookers who were closer had to retreat and dodge. The ground under Lu Han's feet sank abruptly a foot, and the cracks were full of cracks. But Lu Han didn't step back, and Xiaoai didn't move forward either. The two maintained the attitude of 1 attack and 1 defense until the shock wave disappeared. Compared with the thin Lu Han, Xiaoai's strong body was like a gorilla and a monkey. It's really fierce, Lu Han said while biting Kiba. His arms were already numb, and because he couldn't fight back, he could only defend himself with the power of Teishu and strange power. Without the blessing of strange power, his arms can't be broken. A look of pain appeared on Xiaoai's face, and then with a poof, she raised her head to spurt blood, and fell backwards to the ground. Internal injury. Xiaoai's blow did not achieve the effect of breaking, and the anti-shock force was extremely strong. It was like an ordinary person hitting a brick with his hand. If he broke the brick, his hand would be fine. If it didn't break, bricks continue, and the hand is likely to be fractured. In the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode, Xiaoai will definitely not break his hand, but he has an injury in his body, and the anti-shock force is enough to tear the wound that has healed up again. Master! Master! Were screams around, and finally the Kumogakure ninja ran to Xiaoai. Tisk tisk, I vomited blood when I beat me, I just defended it. Lu Han teased, put his arms down, and shook his numb forearms vaguely. You, Xiaoai sat up in shock and glared at Lu Han, but she was furious, spit out blood again, and fell back down. After finishing the work, Lu Han walked away. It seems that this apology was unsuccessful. You are welcome to come to me at any time. I will give you a chance to hit me. Lu Han's voice drifted away. The gate of the courtyard, Lu Han summoned Anbu Ninja who was in charge of the guard, and whispered, if Xiaoai wants to leave here to find me, don't stop him. Yes, the Anbu Ninja respectfully obeyed. Lu Han first went to the Hokage building for a walk, listened to the reconstruction progress report in the west of the village, and discussed the details with Koharu Udatain and Homura Mitokado on the plan to destroy the black market. Lu Han did not return home until nightfall. House is already fragrant. Hyuga Luoning and Uzumaki Kushina have already gone home, and have prepared dinner, waiting for Lu Han to come back for dinner. Where's Tsunade? When Lu Han found that Tsunade wasn't there, he was a little worried. Wouldn't he be gambling? Immediately opened the insight map to check, but the results surprised him. I was invited by the Kumogakure mission. Hyuga Luoning said. Understood. Lu Han nodded. Let's have dinner. No wait. It wasn't until dinner was almost over that Tsunade returned in a hurry. When he saw Lu Han, he was Byakugan for a while, and said angrily, you are trying to plot against Xiaoai again, so I have to go to heal him at night. Tsunade, who has the name of the medical saint, is quite respected, and Tsunade doesn't feel bad for Xiaoai, who is upright. Lu Han smiled. Others might not know what Lu Han was thinking, but Tsunade could definitely guess it, because Lu Han had told her not to cure Xiaoai's injury prematurely. The next day, early in the morning, Lu Han was woken up by the loud roars outside the window. He sat up between Tsunade and Hyuga Luo Ning with a wry smile on his face. He was disturbed by others, and he committed his own sin. The mansion in the forest, in the yard. Cold light, come out, cold light, Xiao Ai shouted, pulling her neck, and the Anbu ninja who was in charge of daily protection had already appeared, standing around the yard, looking at Xiao Ai with cold eyes. If it wasn't for Lu Han who told him to leave this situation alone, they would have done something to Xiao Ai long ago. Xiao Ai shouted loudly in the yard for a while, and Lu Han, who was neatly dressed, quietly appeared behind him, reached out and patted his back. Xiao Ai was startled, turned around and punched, and Lu Han jumped to dodge. Bastard, you're playing with me, Xiao Ai glared at Lu Han. The so-called enemy met Yuhi, but Xiao Ai didn't talk nonsense. Like a hungry tiger rushing towards food, she launched a violent attack on Lu Han. A familiar scene. Lu Han dodged left and right to prevent Xiao Ai from hitting him. Xiao Ai seemed to have learned to be smart. Although he turned on the Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode, he didn't make any big moves on Lu Han, but just used regular punches and kicks to attack. Hyuga Luo Ning in a nightgown looked out, jumping and screaming, "Sister! Sister! Come on, they are fighting! Don't worry, that dead man is playing tricks again, hum." Tsunade rolled over on the soft slump, finished humming, and continued to sleep with his head covered. Tsunade didn't know what Lu Han's ultimate goal was. But with what she knew about Lu Han, she understood that Xiao Ai would definitely be tricked again. Chapter 0695_Knowing Me, Tsunade also. In the yard, Lu Han hid from Xiao Ai for half an hour, and then realized that Xiao Ai really has a very smart side. He looked like he was coming in a rage, as if he would not give up until Lu Han was hit. In fact, he was using Lu Han as a sparring partner. Being able to use a ninja of Lu Han's level as a sparring partner is considered unique. Even Lao Ai couldn't accompany Xiao Ai to fight like this. After all, it would be disgraceful for Lao Su to be chased and beaten by his son. Hey, Han Guang, I'll use you to hone my fists and feet. Hide, hide, hide as much as you like. Xiao Ai attacked Lu Han madly, with a subtle treacherous flash in his eyes. Idiot, I can't ask for it. Lu Han sneered in his heart, as if he knew what Xiao Ai was thinking. Xiao Ai can never imagine that what he is doing now is in the middle of Lu Han's arms. The two fought from early morning to noon, and there was a break during the period, but they were forced to. The administrative department sent documents for Lu Han to sign, and Lu Han had to stop. Fight, fight, good. Idiot, I didn't hit again, it's too stupid. Uzumaki Kushina, who had finished the morning patrol mission, had already returned, sitting on a small stool under the shade of a tree, nibbling on melon seeds while judging the two who were fighting each other. Lunch is ready, it's time to eat, don't fight. Tsunade appeared at the door of the main building, greeted Lu Han a few times, and looked at Uzumaki Kushina again, have some snacks again. Kushina stuck out her tongue, got up and ran towards the main building. Both Lu Han and Xiao Ai stopped, and both of them were gasping for breath, but Lu Han just felt a little tired, while Xiao Ai was covered in sweat and breathing heavily. Humph, I'll be here again in the afternoon. Xiao Ai snorted coldly, turned around and left. Xiao Ai, stay and eat together. Tsunade called from the door. Ah, Xiao Ai subconsciously turned around for a moment, then scratched the back of her head embarrassedly. Then why are you embarrassed? Let's come together. Tsunade beckoned to Xiao Ai, who was 7 years older than Xiao Ai, but seemed to be a kind elder. I just made some more. After dinner, I'll check your injury by the way. Well, then I'm welcome, thank you Tsunade-sama. Hungry Xiao Ai could smell the aroma of the food. Tsunade invited him warmly, and he agreed. Immediately, without even looking at Lu Han, he strode towards the main building. Lu Han groaned in his heart, who is the head of the family? Xiao Ai walked fast, went in first, Lu Han followed behind, and then walked to the dining table. When she heard Uzumaki Kushina say, HMPH, I can't hit it all at once, so stupid, so stupid. Xiaoai glared at Uzumaki Kushina, but said nothing. He would not care about a little girl like Kushina. However, Lu Han was very rude. He slapped Kushina on the back of the head and said quietly, "Who are you from? You were very happy when he hit me." That's not what they meant. Kushina immediately acted coquettishly at Lu Han. Lu Han's slap on the back of her head wasn't heavy. She knew that Lu Han wasn't really angry. Lunch. As a guest, Xiaoai was very cautious and didn't dare to eat hasai, but after Tsunade said, "You can eat as much as you want, there are more," many times, he threw off his cheeks and started to eat. Lu Han raised his finger at Tsunade quietly. He really wanted to say, "Those who know me, Tsunade too." In fact, Lu Han also planned to let Xiaoai have lunch together, but not today, but tomorrow. Lu Han was afraid that it would be too abrupt and arouse Xiaoai's suspicion, but Tsunade did not expect it to be done directly. Tsunade gave Lu Han an angry look. She had already thought about Lu Han's thoughts, so she took the initiative to cooperate. After lunch, Tsunade checked Xiaoai's injuries. Xiaoai's vitality is unbelievably strong, which is why his recovery speed is beyond Tsunade's expectations, and this morning's fight, Xiaoai's injury does not tend to worsen. Internal injury effects. Afternoon, Uzumaki Kushina went on a patrol mission. Hyuga Luo Ning went out to visit friends. Tsunade secretly shipped money out, and Lu Han continued to be a sparring trainer for Xiaoai. At present, the rumors in the ninja world about the duel between Hengguang General and the third generation of Raikage are intensifying. Many forces regard this as a turning point in the war of the ninja world. There is no war in the outside world, and Lu Han is also rarely relaxed. All afternoon, no one came to disturb Lu Han. The two fought until dusk. Xiaoai made an excuse to leave. Before parting, Lu Han kept looking for Kiba and never gave up. Another day, when the genius had just been polished, Xiaoai came to find Lu Han. So, 3 days passed. The past few days, at the behest of Lu Han, there were many onlookers in the battle between Xiaoai and Lu Han. Kumogakur Jonin, Elite Jonin, Might Dai and other Anbu ninjas, as well as several ninjas from the Hyuga clan, including Hyuga and Hyuga Hazashi. They originally came to watch the fun, but then it became a study. Learn how Xiaoai fights and how Lu Han hides. In fact, dodging Xiaoai's attack is also a kind of training for Lu Han, and dodging skills are also an extremely important ability for ninjas. Compared with the Faceless Man, Lu Han dodged Xiaoai's attack. Not a how easy it is. Lu Han has limited his ability. He can fight with the Faceless Man, but facing Xiaoai, he can only hide. Xiaoai returned to Konoha with an injury was also the 4th day that he fought Lu Han. This morning. You're wrong, it's been a few days, why haven't you made any progress at all? Lu Han dodged Xiaoai's attack and said, "The punches are powerful, but they can't be retracted freely, you can lighten your punches, more changes." Xiaoai didn't listen to Lu Han at all and continued to attack. "Are you stupid? I told you that you were wrong. If you are like this, you will never hit me in your life," Lu Han said again. Xiaoai suddenly stopped the attack, stared at Lu Han, thought for a while, and launched the mad attack again. This time, he learned to be smarter. With a little less punching power and more moves, the situation changed suddenly, and it became more difficult for Lu Han to dodge. Yes, that's it, you can hit a heavy punch here, yes. A left hook, Lu Han frequently pointed out, as if Xiaoai couldn't hit him, he was uncomfortable. Chapter 0696_Lu Han's Purpose. Xiaoai is worthy of the name of a super genius, and he knows it all at once. After tasting the sweetness of changing moves, he recognizes Lu Han's advice. Anyway, it is not shameful to be directed by a superpower like Lu Han. Lu Han was just asking for trouble, but he was enjoying it. And what Lu Han has to do is to lead Xiaoai on the correct path of cultivation. In the original work, the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode of the 3rd generation Raikage Laowai is known for its defense and strength, while the 4th generation Raikage Xiaoai is known for its speed. In other words, Xiaoai is more talented in speed. And now, Xiaoai in this world is only 18 years old. He was deeply influenced by his father, Lao Ai. He copied his father's growth path and has not yet walked out of his own path of cultivation. Perhaps, he will have to wait until he is in his 20s and his strength has grown to a certain height before he realizes the path he should take. Now Luhan wants to take him on the road that is more suitable for him in advance. As long as he guides him enough and makes Xiaoai realize his talent in speed, Luhan will be more likely to achieve his goal. Lao Ai is not suitable for teaching Xiaoai. If Xiaoai's talent is not too high, Lao Ai's teaching will definitely delay Xiaoai's growth. Xiaoai's talent is speed. The basic ability that Luhan is best at is speed. He wants to take Xiaoai as his apprentice. Wrong. You have to know that your purpose now is to hit me. Don't care if you can hurt me or not, hit me first. Quicker, faster, you're throwing your fist with all your strength. Too much power, too much inertia, not enough change. It's not that you don't have to work hard. With your power, even if you only use half of it, it's enough to break the mountains and rubble, not to mention you don't need to reduce that much. Do you understand what I'm saying? Prejudgment. Do you understand prejudgment? Increase the speed without evenly distributing the power of the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode throughout the body, and I won't hit you. What are you afraid of? Throughout the morning, Luhan's pointing voice did not stop in the courtyard, and the onlookers seemed to have benefited a lot. Luhan's fighting style was honed in life and death struggles. Although what he said was simple and easy to understand, however, they all pointed to the key points. Most of the onlookers were taijutsu ninjas. After listening to them, they felt a sense of suddenness. However, Luhan felt that he had misunderstood his children. After all, not all ninjas are made for speed. So, after another day, Luhan ordered Anbu to seal off the courtyard, and no one except Might Dai was allowed to watch. On this day, there are still 4 days left before Luhan and the third generation of Reikage duel. This afternoon, Xiaoai attacked Luhan wildly. He changed. He became faster and more frequent. However, the attack power was weakened accordingly. Xiaoai was originally a speed master talent, so the transformation was very natural. Very quickly, Luhan officially entered the rhythm of being beaten. He pointed out that Xiaoai could already hit him, and Luhan couldn't dodge all Xiaoai's attacks, so he would use elbows, knees, fists and feet to block and defend from time to time. This made Xiaoai excited to ultimate. He can hit it. Therefore, he regards Luhan's guidance as a golden rule. He will fight whatever Luhan asks him to do. He doesn't care what Luhan's guidance means to him, as long as his strength can increase, that's enough. In the courtyard, both Xiaoai and Luhan turned into glimpses, and the bang-bang sound of fisting to the flesh was endless. Might Dai squatted on the tree and watched intently. His ability to open 7 doors surpasses Xiaoai, but in terms of skills and other aspects, he is not as good as Xiaoai. White Fang, who had nothing to do, was under the tree, leaning against the tree and watching the two of them. He didn't know what Luhan was thinking. Why did he teach the son of Reikage, the third generation of eyes? To put it mildly, this is Luhan's private matter, and others have no right to interfere. But seriously speaking, this is capitalizing the enemy. The Kumogakure ninja to be stronger. In the future, Kumogakure and Konoha will face each other on the battlefield, but Konoha will be hurt. Call. A whirlwind suddenly swirled around White Fang, and an Anbu ninja appeared out of thin air and said eagerly, "Emergency information." He handed the information scroll to White Fang. Judging from the mark on the scroll, it was a message from the country of Vortex. Kurigakure finally started. White Fang frowned suddenly, opened the scroll, and then widened his eyes. Han, urgent information. White Fang immediately shouted and flashed in the field. Luhan retreated and distanced himself from Xiaoai. White Fang came over and handed him the scroll. Luhan opened the scroll and looked at it. His eyes widened immediately, and he immediately shouted, "Notify the meeting." White Fang leaves and arranges for someone to notify the ninjas who are eligible for the meeting. Luhan was about to leave, but he glanced at Xiaoai and the contents on the scroll. After thinking for a while, he walked quickly to the main building. In the main building, Tsunade and Hyuga Luo Ning sat opposite each other, and in the middle was a table with a large and a small pile of gold coins. Most of them belonged to Hyuga Luo Ning, and less of them belonged to Tsunade. The two were gambling money. Tsunade lost badly, but she didn't care, and there was no sign of losing. Yuhi's eyes, holding the dice clock, was shaking. "Stop playing." Luhan hurried over, pulled Tsunade off the gaming table, showed her the latest information, and then whispered, "I'll go to a meeting in a while. You are like this. This way. Understand?" Trick him again. Tsunade squinted at Luhan. Luhan shrugged his shoulders. Can't you change your calculations?" Tsunade poked Luhan's forehead with his finger angrily. Luhan smiled, hugged and kissed Tsunade's cheek, then went to kiss Hyuga Luo Ning's forehead, and then left. Not long after. Konoha's third meeting room, Kaharu Udatane, Homura Mitokado, Hyuga Huyung, Uchiha Leung, Inazuka Lei, Hitaki Sakumo and others were all present. Seeing that everyone was there, Luhan took out the scroll and handed it over to everyone for circulation. "Look at them all. Intelligence. 1 day and 2 nights ago, Hokage I, the third-generation head, appeared in the country of vortexes and entered the base of the first main battle army of Kurigakure alone. After a bloody battle for half a day, he killed more than 3,000 ninjas from the first army of Kurigakure, killing nearly 1,000 people, and the rest. They were all wounded, and they themselves were wounded, and they fled away without a trace." Chapter 0697_Runaway Old Eye. When everyone saw the information, they were all discolored and shocked. The important part of this piece of information is not what happened to Kurigakure, but Lao Ai. He is injured. At the same time, everyone also saw Lao Ai's fierceness. Compared with the day when Luhan defeated Kurigakure village, Lao Ai's record was not much better. Although there were many masters in Kurigakure village, Luhan killed many people by means of tricks, and Kurigakure village just killed a lot of people. After experiencing civil strife, people are unstable, there is no clear leader, and the command is not strong enough, which is prone to chaos. The Kurigakure First Main Battle Army is the strongest army in Kurigakure that has been stationed abroad all the year round. Legion ninjas are good at cooperating. Commanding Hai Zanyang, he is a strong man in the Megatron ninja world. Zanyang's profile and deduced that his strength should be between the level 60 white silver boss and the level 60 gold boss. Ninja, with such a big master in the formation, coupled with the cooperation of the Legion, even the old I Chang's pervert will be in big trouble. Compared with Luhan, Lao Ai does not have the technique of Hiraishin, so it is easy to be surrounded. Hundreds of ninjutsu hit him at the same time. He can dodge if he can, but if he can't dodge, he can only use Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode. When it comes to the killing ability on the battlefield, the entire ninja world is no stronger than Luhan. Not even Lao Ai. Taijutsu ninjas are not good at group attack, even a superpower like Lao Ai. But that's it, Lao Ai still managed to break through the camp. After a bloody battle for half a day, he defeated the first main battle army of Kurigakure. If Lao Ai had to use an adjective to describe Lao Ai, it would only be nuclear weapons. Lao Ai was alone, hanging the strongest army of Kurigakure as the nuclear weapon in the War of Ninja. Of course, Luhan is also a small nuclear bomb. He has blown it once at Kurigakure, and Lao Ai blew it again. Ai is really resolute. In order to avenge his son, he really fought his life. Kaharu Udatane praised and looked at Luhan again. Is this also part of Lord Hengwang's plan? That's it, Luhan said. I know that with Ai's temper, I will definitely take revenge on Kurigakure, but I didn't expect it to come so quickly and directly. I don't know how badly he was injured. Homura Mitokado frowned slightly. If the injury is too serious, the duel in a few days will probably be cancelled. Probably not. Luhan shook his head. At most, it's just an extension. It's impossible to cancel. The information only said that I was injured. If it was a serious injury, it should be written. Luhan didn't say anything. The reason why Lu Han was sure that Lao Ai was not seriously injured was because he knew Lao Ai's future achievements. Only 3,000 people were killed. The old Ai in the original book died of exhaustion during the Third Ninja World War, but he was exhausted in a bloody battle for 3 days and 3 nights. Note that he died of exhaustion from chakra exhaustion, not from serious injuries. So Lu Han concluded that Lao Ai was by no means seriously injured, otherwise he would not have the ability to defeat 10,000 in the future. The atmosphere of this meeting was very relaxed, because intelligence was good news. Whether it was Kurigakure being hit again, or Lao Ai being injured, it was a good thing for Konoha. Lu Han held the meeting for only one purpose, not to discuss anything, but it is to let Koharu Udatane and others understand that Han Guang's strategy has worked. A mansion in the forest, a courtyard full of potholes. Lu Han had been away for a while, and Xiao Ai was impatient, wandering in the yard bored. Idle is also idle, let's learn from each other. Tsunade, who put on a ninja suit, walked out of the main building and said with a smile. Xiao Ai was stunned for a moment, then her face was very unnatural. Sir Tsunade, this is not very good, you are a medical ninja. In case you are injured, I am afraid. Tsunade is also a taijutsu ninja, but because of her reputation as a medical saint this year, and every mission is with Jiraiya and Orochimaru, the world has ignored her taijutsu ability. You hurt me. Tsunade squinted her eyes, she couldn't bear her violent temper. Little boy, when I killed the enemy for the first time, you were still breastfeeding and looked down on me. Xiao Ai suddenly turned Yuhi's face. In fact, Tsunade is telling the truth. Tsunade has already started to go out when he was 7 or 8 years old, and Xiao Ai was only born at that time, but this is hard to say, and it is quite harsh. Xiao Ai respects Tsunade very much, because Tsunade heals his wounds, is the granddaughter of Senju Hashirama, the god of ninja, and the wife of Hangguang, the killing god. The fame and status are not comparable to Xiao Ai. After all, she was ridiculed, and Xiao Ai could only hold her neck and say, I don't hit women. Yo, you look down on women. Tsunade took a few steps closer and rolled up his sleeves. You've been chasing and beating my husband for so many days, and now my husband can't play with you for business. I'll meet you when I come. Why? Afraid of losing face to a woman. Quick, something happened. Come here. Then a dozen Anbu ninjas showed up around the courtyard. They were not here to watch the fun, but were a little nervous. They were about to fight. They were worried that Tsunade would be injured. If Tsunade was injured at home, they would not be able to protect them well. Hangguang had to peel off their skin when he came back. What they didn't know was that all of this was instructed by Lu Han. You, don't deceive people too much. Xiao Ai was already anxious. I respect you for healing me, don't force me. It's just a discussion, what are you afraid of? Tsunade raised his eyebrows. Don't worry, if I really hurt you, I will never hold you accountable. You said it. I said so. Then, don't blame me. A terrifying chakra fluctuation suddenly rose from Xiao Ai's body, blue light lingered all over her body, and lightning flashed. Ha! Tsunade sneered, and it exploded in an instant. The ground under his feet exploded, and he rushed in front of Xiao Ai. The two sides fought with each other for more than 30 moves. Tsunade finally broke out and punched with all his strength and power, and Xiao Ai slammed Tsunade with Chongliu. Fists and elbows collided. Xiao Ai was shocked, stared at Tsunade incredulously, and flew out backwards. He flew straight out of the yard. Chapter 0698-Tragic Xiao Ai. The ninjas in the yard were stunned, and there was silence for a while. Tsunade let out a long sigh, and a burst of guilt suddenly rose in her heart. With her comprehensive strength as a level 60 white silver boss, even if the medical ninjutsu part is deducted, it is enough to beat a 50-level gold boss. What's more, Xiao Ai underestimated Tsunade's strength, and didn't dare to use his full strength, and you must know that the strange power of physique was carried forward in her hands, and her chakra volume was no less than Lu Han. Tsunade quickly defeated Xiao Ai. And even if Xiao Ai's activated body defense is amazing, she's probably injured a lot in this attack. This is Lu Han's purpose. Let Tsunade hurt Xiao Ai. Lu Han is no longer good at hurting Xiao Ai, because Xiao Ai has learned to be smart and doesn't want to make big moves on Lu Han. Originally, Xiao Ai's injury has almost recovered today. It is estimated that he will leave Konoha tomorrow. Lu Han also planned to let him go. He was going to duel with Lao Ai, so he should go back too. But suddenly he got the information that Lao Ai was injured, which made Lu Han realize that the duel might be postponed, so Lu Han wanted to let Xiao Ai stay for a while and get closer to him, but there was no sufficient reason for Xiao Ai to stay. Lu Han made this decision. Chan, Han, can't you change your mind? Tsunade muttered something, sighed, and returned to the main building, and there was a commotion in the courtyard. Wow, Tsunade-sama is so powerful. Taijutsu. Master Tsunade's accomplishments in taijutsu are no less than medical ninjutsu. I didn't expect it. I thought Tsunade-sama was protected by Jiraiya-sama and Orochimaru-sama. The Anbu ninjas talked for a while, then dispersed and hid in various places in the forest mansion. Might Dai was left in the clear. Squeak. The door of the courtyard was pushed open, and the disgraced Xiao Ai entered the door with an aggrieved expression on his face. His face was pale, and there were bloodstains on the corners of his mouth. The injury immediately becomes a major injury. Xiao Ai felt that she had never been so unlucky. Since the encounter with the cold light, everything has changed. Being punched by Han Guang, attacked by Kurigakure, and punched by Han Guang's wife Tsunade, Xiao Ai is not a superstitious person, but now he has the urge to pray to God. Is he cursed? Otherwise, how could it be so unlucky? Tsunade, why is she so strong? When Xiao Ai came back, no one paid any attention to him. Tsunade had just finished beating him, so naturally, it would be too hypocritical to talk about healing him right away. Aside from Xiao Ai in the yard, there is Might Dai squatting on a tree. Since Lu Han gave Might Dai the right to practice at will when he is not on duty, he does not need to be on call, so he is very free. He is still waiting for Han Guang to come back, to see Han Guang and Xiao Ai fight. The more Xiao Ai thought about it, the more it grieved her. She glared at Yuhi and looked around. There was no one else, only Might Dai. Although Might Dai was wearing a mask, he remembered Might Dai's figure and knew that Might Dai was from before. Konoha Anbu ninja who travels with Han Guang to Kumogakure. It's you. You Ten are here to watch us fight. Are you a taijutsu ninja? Xiao Ai stared at Might Dai as if she had found a punching bag. Yeah, Might Dai nodded to Xiao Ai. Okay, come here. Xiao Ai beckoned to Might Dai. Let's make a gesture. Huh. Might Dai froze for a moment, then looked strangely. Are you sure? Of course, come here. Xiao Ai wanted to vent, thinking that the ninja who could be sent together with Han Guang should not be weak. Come. Don't worry, I won't hurt you, just practice. I am happy to accompany you. Might Dai said nothing, jumped off the tree, and walked slowly towards Xiao Ai. That's it, I won't bully you. We will come as you say, and I don't want to accidentally hurt you. Xiao Ai said in a stern voice. Don't use it, come with all your strength. Might Dai said. Oh, Xiao Ai was surprised and looked at Might Dai up and down. Might Dai was taller and stronger than the average person, but he was not in the same order of magnitude as Xiao Abi. I didn't see it, he was still a master, so I'll do my best. Might Dai nodded. Xiao Ai was shocked and entered the Raiden Thunder-style chakra mode. Might Dai was also shocked, and the air flowed violently to the ultimate. The space seemed to be torn apart. Out of Kiba's tailed beast, the breath made Xiao Ai feel palpitations. 7 Might Dai, the strength is comparable to the level 60 white silver boss. It's really a master. Xiao Ai was extremely excited. He was afraid that Might Dai was not strong enough, so he wouldn't be able to vent. The two jumped at the same time. A loud bang resounded over Konoha like thunder. Xiao Ai spewed blood and flew out of the courtyard, with a hopeless expression on her face, and slammed into the woods. He doesn't understand. Why find a pervert who is stronger than anyone? Even if the cold light is strong, cold light is a monster. I also recognize his daughter-in-law as strong. After all, there is a strong husband of pervert, who is also the granddaughter of the god of ninja world. But why is he so strong? Why? What is this for? Tragedy. When Xiao-ai limped back to the yard again, Might Dai had already returned to the tree, squatting there in an indecent manner without saying a word. Ji Yujing Wubo was calm as if what happened before had nothing to do with him. Xiao-ai avoided Might Dai's eyes. He was severely injured twice in a row. His injuries were extremely serious. On the sky. He felt that he should reflect on his own life. Lu Han came back from the meeting and saw Xiao-ai lying on the ground half-crippled thinking about life. He felt that something was wrong. Tsunade came out of the building and talked about the situation. Lu Han was surprised, and berated Tsunade and Might Dai for their inhumane behavior. Might Dai drooped his head, admitted his mistake, and didn't speak. Tsunade cooperated with Lu Han, sincerely apologized to Xiao-ai, and used S-level medical ninjutsu to heal Xiao-ai. Injury was more than half healed by Tsunade, jumped up directly, as if she had figured out something, and excitedly said to Lu Han, "I want to become stronger. I want to become stronger. Let's come, you teach me to become stronger." Chapter 0699-Steel. The blows Xiao-ai has suffered in his life are not as big as those added in the past few days. When he was in Kumogakure village, unless Lao-ai often beat him, other ninjas almost held him up for two reasons. 1. It is that he is Lao-ai's son, and the second is that Xiao-ai has shown astonishing talent since childhood, and his future achievements will never be lower than Lao-ai, which is already recognized. Because of this, Xiao-ai became the only successor to Raikage's position, not by the old eye, but by the unanimous approval of Kumogakure. Growing up in this environment, Xiao-ai has not experienced many setbacks, and his talent is indeed pervert. Whether it is fighting against others on a daily basis or killing enemies on the front line, he has very few failures. Such life experience has created Xiao-ai's unwillingness to admit defeat, or a competitive character. Xiao-ai once believed that she was the darling of God and the next god of ninja. Totally unexpected. Since coming to Konoha, all the wonderful fantasies that Xiao-ina had made about the future have all been destroyed by reality. But Xiao-ai still refuses to admit defeat. Various setbacks did not destroy his will, but made his desire to become stronger even higher. "Teach me, I want to become stronger," Xiao-ai shouted excitedly, taking a few steps forward, trying to grab Lu Han's shoulder. Lu Han dodged Xiao-ai-ku's big fan-like hand, distanced himself from Xiao-ai, and squinted. "I won't teach you, you are a Kumogakure ninja, I am a Konoha ninja, we are not the same people, you give up." Tsunade looked at Lu Han in surprise. Isn't that what he meant? Why didn't he agree? Lu Han naturally wouldn't tell Tsunade that it was his hard-to-find plan. "If I promise Xiao-ai now, Xiao-ai will definitely not be a teacher. Unless you lose your mind and go crazy, you will never recognize Lu Han as a master. Moreover, Lu Han's last move about Raiden, Thunder-style chakra mode is useless. You don't teach me. Why don't you teach me? Didn't you apologize to me? If you teach me, I will accept your apology." The excited Xiao-ai has already started to mess around. "I apologize for letting you hit me out. It's not my fault that you never hit me." Lu Han shrugged. Good. Xiao-ai laughed angrily. "I must beat you all over the floor to find Kiba. Look at the trick." Xiao-ai went berserk. Blue light exploded all over her body, surrounded by thunder and lightning, and attacked Lu Han wildly. Lu Han saw the tricks, and if he could dodge, he would dodge. The two of you came and went, and they fought in the courtyard again. Might Dai returned to the tree, and again acted as the enthusiastic watch of the onlookers. "It's endless, bullying people." Tsunade gave Lu Han a blank look and went back to the building muttering. "Is Xiao-ai stupid? Of course he's not stupid." Lu Han provoked him, so he borrowed the donkey to get off the slope, still discussing with Lu Han in the name of breathing out. Luhan was used to giving him a few pointers. He was naturally happy like this. It sounds good, he is stealing teachers. Luhan just let him steal it. It is also to pave the way for his future anti-stealing. Time flies, another 3 days have passed. There was still 1 day left before Luhan and Lao Ai agreed to a decisive battle in the Valley of the End. This morning, the messenger of Kurigakure hurriedly came to Konoha and brought Lao Ai's handwritten letter. As Luhan expected, Lao Ai officially replied to the duel, but it was rescheduled after half a month, that is, it was extended for half a month. Lao Ai did not find any other reason, but said that he was injured and needed to rest for a while. Lao Ai is a man, he can be called upright, he doesn't have so many twists and turns, and the news of his bloody battle with the first Kurigakure Corps has spread. He knows that no matter what excuses he makes, Konoha will know that he is injured, and he will simply tell the truth. At the end of the letter, Lao Ai asked about Xiao Ai again, hoping that Xiao Ai could return to the camp as soon as possible. In fact, he was warning Luhan to release him immediately. In this matter, Luhan did not give Lao Ai any response, because he did not need a response, so naturally someone would reply to Lao Ai, and that person was Xiao Ai. Residents of the Kumogakure mission. This time, the Kumogakure messenger who came to Konoha to deliver the letter was named Songmeng. He was received by Luhan in the Hokage building before, and then he hurried to the residence of the Kumogakure mission to meet the Kumogakure ninja who accompanied Xiao Ai to stay here. They were all from his own family, and they spoke directly. He made it clear that he wanted to see Xiao Ai, but then he heard that Xiao Ai was going to Tenta, play the cold light, recently. Songmeng waited left and right in the yard, but she didn't see Xiao Ai coming back. After that, she couldn't hold back, and told Anbu ninja guarding the yard that she wanted to see her young master. The Anbu ninja got an explanation from Luhan, and personally led the way and sent him to the mansion in the forest. In the courtyard of the mansion in the forest, Luhan came back from the Hokage building. He started fighting with Xiao Ai again. Xiao Ai made rapid progress. After adjusting his ability to focus on speed, the threat to Luhan became more and more serious, and Luhan fought against him every time. 10 moves, there are 3 or 4 moves that need to be defended, and there is no way to escape. But Luhan did not give up his advice to Xiao Ai. It's not a bad thing for Xiao Ai to become stronger. Songmeng came and interrupted the fight between Luhan and Xiao Ai. He greeted Luhan first, then dragged Xiao Ai to the corner of the courtyard where no one else was, and sneakily gave Xiao Ai a letter. Master, has this Konoha ever been abused? This damn Konoha is holding you back. Lord Rakage is already furious. How is your injury? If it's okay, go back with me today. Songmeng whispered. What are you talking about? Who dares to abuse me? Xiao Ai glared, then slowed down. It's not that Konoha is holding me, it's just that my injury hasn't healed, so I didn't go back. After speaking, Xiao Ai opened the scroll, which was naturally a handwritten letter from Lao Ai. Lao Ai asked Xiao Ai about the current situation, and urged him to go back earlier. He also said that if Xiao Ai was wronged, he could explain in his reply that Lao Ai would send someone to secretly cooperate with him to escape from Konoha. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Xiao Ai shouted in her heart. Konoha treated him very well. He didn't want to go back at all. It was cool to steal the teacher. Chapter-700 Do you think you will? For Xiao Ai, living in Konoha is more comfortable than living in Kumogakure village. When it comes to food and drink, the Land of Fire has a vast territory, the most fertile land in the ninja world, with abundant production, and Xiao Ai is eating at Luhan's house these days. It's really what you want from the mountains and the sea, and Tsunade's craftsmanship is irresistible. Speaking of freedom, Xiao Ai is really free in Konoha. No one will restrict his movements. Of course, this is related to his not wandering around other places. There is another point that Kumogakure can't compare, and it is also the point that Xiao Ai values most. That is, under the guidance of Luhan, his strength has grown by leaps and bounds. After returning to the residence of the mission every day in the dark, he will find a few sparring partners. fighting for a while. It's not that Xiao Ai thinks her strength has grown, but the Kumogakur ninjas in the mission think so. Konoha's care for Xiao Ai is really meticulous. Tsunade's medical ninjutsu is not comparable to a Kumogakur ninja, although Tsunade once beat Xiao Ai. But Xiao Ai does not hold a grudge against Tsunade, because he has recently heard that Tsunade with that violent temper. Konoha is a large group of young leaders, and they have been beaten by Tsunade, even Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Even Han Guang was ripped off by Tsunade back then. This made Xiao Ai realize that Tsunade was not targeting himself by beating himself, who made him look down on women. In Lao Ai's letter to Xiao Ai, he also said about the postponement of the duel. Xiao Ai is not surprised, because there have been rumors in Konoha these days that Lao Ai killed the first Kurigakur Corps alone and was injured because of it. Ai's wisdom can naturally imagine that the duel may be postponed. Xiao Ai is extremely superstitious about his own strength, so he is not worried about how much Lao Ai is injured. Master, look, the dark-skinned Song Meng whispered. I'm not going back. Xiao Ai immediately closed the scroll, shook her head at Song Meng, and said in a stern voice, my injury is not yet healed, and there is no war now. I have nothing to do when I go back, but it will delay the treatment of the injury. Believe me, I won't write it anymore. You go back and tell my father, just say that the child is not wronged here. He can go whenever he wants. Xiao Ai pondered for a while. He knew that he couldn't stay in Konoha forever, so he said, it may be as short as 5 or 6 days, or as long as 7 or 8 days. When my injury is healed, I will go back as soon as possible, so that my father does not need to worry. Song Meng just passed the message on his behalf, and did not persuade Xiao Ai. He could also see from Xiao Ai's expression and tone that Xiao Ai had a good life here, so he was relieved. Xiao Ai didn't tell Song Meng about stealing the cold light from his teacher. First, he wanted to surprise his father and let him know that even if he was injured, he would not slack off and his strength had grown. Second, he was afraid of causing his father's dissatisfaction, because the current practice concept is different from that of Lao Ai. When Xiao Ai and Song Meng were talking, Lu Han didn't go back to the main building, but just watched from a distance in the yard. Xiao Ai didn't hide what he said, but Lu Han could hear it clearly, so he almost laughed out loud. After all, Xiao Ai is only 18 years old, and he can't compare with the 4th-generation Hokage in the original book. After Song Meng got Xiao Ai's explanation, he left in a hurry, exited Konoha under the escort of Anbu Ninja, and went directly back to the border camp. Xiao Ai went to Lu Han again, looking like you were looking for Kiba all over the place if I didn't fight, and you swore to be human, and wanted to fight Lu Han, but this time, Lu Han directly stopped Xiao Ai, not with Xiao Ai hands. You'd better go back, your injury is 90% better, and it's time to go. Lu Han said with his hands on his face unpleasant, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. I can give you pointers, it's just to see that you're going wrong. It's just a pity in my heart, but you don't know how to advance or retreat, it's endless, go back. Hearing Lu Han rushing him, Xiao Ai suddenly became anxious. If he went back to Kumogakur, he would not be able to find another person who could point him like Lu Han. Xiao Ai's strength can be ranked in the top 10 in Kumogakur. Those who are stronger than him are either very senior or legion commanders, and have no time to teach him, and without Lao Ai's permission, other people nor will he teach him without permission. After all, Xiao Ai wants to be Hokage in the future. Whoever becomes Xiao Ai's master will be superior to others in the future. Lao Ai does not allow anyone to put pressure on his son. Besides, Lao Ai himself, he always taught Xiao Ai personally, but now Xiao Ai has realized that what his father is good at is not suitable for him. Xiao Ai didn't know what to say in a hurry, but Lu Han broke his mind. He realized that he couldn't deceive Lu Han, and glared at him. He said anxiously, are you afraid? I'm afraid I will hurt you. You broke your face. Humph. Konoha cold light, that's all. Stimulate the law. I'm afraid of you. Lu Han's face turned cold. Don't be afraid of me, why drive me away? Xiao Ai raised his chin and said, didn't you say I can't hit you? I'm about to hit you. so you drive me away, aren't you afraid of what? Okay you. Lu Han pretended to be furious. Come on, whoever is afraid of you is your grandson. Come on, I'll see how you hit me. Come on. Xiao Ai was overjoyed, secretly scolding Han Guang for being an idiot, but on the surface she still looked arrogant. She entered Raiden Thunder style, chakra mode and rushed towards Lu Han. The window of the main building, Tsunade looked at the two who were fighting together again outside, and mourned for Xiao Ai for a moment. 5 more days. In the morning, Lu Han was fighting with Xiao Ai. 1 attack and 1 defense. Xiao Ai attacked wildly. When Lu Han saw the move, he sometimes gave advice. Master, he will try to figure it out when he goes back at night. The news about Lao Ai breaking the first main battle of Kurigakure and the rescheduling of the duel has spread all over the ninja world. All parties are waiting for this battle, so the ninja world has rarely entered a truce period, and Lu Han can be described as extremely leisurely. Changliu. Xiao Ai made a big move to Lu Han. He had recovered from his injury and had no scruples. Do you think it's just you? Lu Leng laughed, while dodging sideways, his whole body shook. Blue light shrouded thunder and lightning, and he also entered Raiden Thunder style chakra mode. You. Xiao Ai was shocked, and was stunned on the spot.